The Two Idiots Podcast.
Okay, we're recording. Do you want to do the intro or do you want me to?
I think you should do the intro.
I don't want to, though.
Okay, I think I should do the intro.
I go for it.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 6th anniversary spectacular episode of the Two Idiots Podcast.
Wow! 6! I can't count that high.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if it was like in your name or something, but it's not. So.
Yeah, no, it's not. Speaking of names, I guess we should introduce ourselves. You go first.
Yeah, I'm ProfessorPizza2023.
You've updated it? I still feel like you should go maybe 3030 to be safe.
Well, I figure if I add the professor, then it's, maybe it just signals a bit of growth and change, right?
Maybe. I'm your host, Buttsmaster666. I can't count that high either. So, 6-year anniversary show, special anniversary show of the Two Idiots Podcast. I'm extremely loud with all the yelling I'm doing. It's going terrible. So,
man, very unlike all our other episodes where they've came out just perfectly.
I would agree. Every other episode until this point has been perfect.
Mm-hmm. Where we're recording, I can't see the audio, so I'm going to say it's not my fault this time.
No, it's fine. I'll fix it in post. We could just re-record the whole episode like we did that one time.
In post, would you mean just delete the files?
I was gonna. You remember our buddy who came in that one episode to host that game for us?
Yeah.
I was gonna just make him come in again because I couldn't think of anything to do. I'll just make him record his own podcast by himself, and we'll just use that instead.
Mm-hmm. Just like editing clips of us from like old episodes, like the mic quality just changes.
No, it'd just be him and Codwell.
Oh yeah, old Codwell.
That's the Two Idiots. Speaking of Two Idiots, we kind of do a thing, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, where we sort of alternate who hosts each anniversary episode.
Mm-hmm.
We play a game or something, and we sort of, that's going to pick up my chair squeaking. We play a game or something, and we sort of alternate who's the host. So last time, Pizzaguy hosted, and we played the anime thing where he asked me a bunch of questions about, and I just was very confused the whole time and just talked about things that weren't related in any meaningful way.
Yeah, it was frankly like highlight probably of best episode of that year, I think.
I would agree. One of my favorite parts of that episode was spending like 15 minutes neither of us understanding the rules, or I guess you understood them but couldn't dumb them down enough for me.
Yeah, well, I thought that I had already told you about them before, and then I was wildly confused on what you could be misunderstanding.
So that was my favorite part of the whole show. So I decided for my episode to host it, I was going to do something similar, but much worse because we both understand the rules now. So the whole good bit is gone. But I don't watch anime, so I was trying to think of something that I know of that Pizzaguy doesn't, that there's a lot of, and most of them are kind of bad, so that the ones I make don't seem so out of place. And I came up with SCPs. How much do you know about SCPs? It stands for a Secure Contained Pizza Guy. That's what I'm going to name the episode. I already decided.
Oh, nice. I already got that out of the way. I know that they are a spooky, and I think you said that there was a statue that is spooky.
Yeah, there's the scary statue. That's a very famous one.
There are some joke ones. I think they have a J in the name.
They do? You're correct.
That's about it. Oh, and then the lab boys die a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It's like Aperture Science.
Exactly. So I wanted to give So I kind of like SCPs. They're like a horror thing, and I don't like horror at all. But I do like science fiction, so I like that element of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are not that great, but that said, I've never written one myself, so even the worst one's better than mine.
But is that going to change today?
That's what I was thinking. After we're done, I should just write all these as real SCPs and post them. And there's oh, where'd you get this idea? I'm I heard it on my favorite podcast.
Self-marketing.
Yeah, not mention that I was the one that wrote it.
Yeah.
It's it's inspired by my favorite show. And then someone calls me well, that's just plagiarism. Yeah, but it's my show. This is my idea. Don't worry.
You get sued for plagiarizing yourself?
I don't know. I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal.
I could use the money.
Really, the whole goal of this podcast is a great tax scheme.
Yeah. This is a tax write-off.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give a little detail about the SCP lore before we start.
Okay.
SCP, it's this government thing. It's not with the government, but it's like a shadow government organization kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they are trying to catalog and contain these anomalous, I'm doing fingers with my hands here, anomalous objects. So basically they find weird stuff that doesn't belong in the world and they hide it so that normal people don't have to deal with that crap.
So they find all the anime and they're like, this doesn't belong in this world, and then they get rid of it.
Yeah, like, this sucks, and then they throw it in the closet.
They find this podcast.
And like, this is the one thing we're going to let stay. This is great.
Obviously.
So there's different, what should I start with? There's different people who work there. There's D class. They are, in lore, all death row inmates who have been stolen to work at SCP instead.
Okay.
And they're basically the fodder guys. So, like, if there's an SCP, it's like, it's a big scary monster that eats people. Like, well, we got to send in someone to clean its pens, send in to D class, so now he got eaten. So if you want to make your SCP scary, it eats a bunch of D class.
Okay.
If you want to make your SCP really scary, it eats a bunch of the agents. Those are the SCP trained guys who go out on missions. And it's kind of like a recurring trope, at least in sort of the older days. I'm not really, like, in on this culture. So, like, if someone who does really like SCPs finds like, this guy is an idiot and doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's on brand, though.
Yeah, exactly. For a long time, there was a trope of, like, the agents would go in to explore the SCP and they'd all die. It's like, oh, it was scary. They all died. But it kind of just makes all the agents look incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the doctors and researchers. They don't usually die.
Are there any professors, though? Because hopefully they don't die. That would be an unfortunate name change.
I think it's just doctors and researchers.
Dodged a bullet.
They don't die as often. Usually they die if the SCP, like, breaches containment. So that's less like, oh, look how scary it is. We sent in these guys and they died. And we're like, oh, look how scary it is. It got out and ate all these people.
Mm-hmm. Terrifying.
Yeah, it's very scary. There's different, like, security levels, but pretty much that doesn't matter. But, like, there's, like, level 1 researchers and 2 and 3. And you get at the highest level is the 05 Council, or it might be the 05 Council. And they're, like, the top guys. They're the best, basically.
Do any of them ever get, like, eaten?
No. Except for sometimes when it's, like, really, really scary.
Yeah.
You gotta, and speaking of ways to pump up how scary your SCP is, there's different object classes. There's safe, which basically, there's like a locked box test.
Okay.
So it relates to how hard they are to contain. Safe is, you throw it in the box, problem solved.
Into the safe.
Yeah. So like an example of this would be like something that only activates when someone picks it up.
Okay.
Like, you just put it in the box and don't have anyone touch it. Problem solved, right?
Right.
Then there's Euclid class, which is like the step above safe. It takes some upkeep to keep it in the box. A lot of, like, living SCPs are in this.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. You give them food, water, they stay in the box. It's fine.
Okay.
And then there's Keter. I don't know if that's how you say that. It's Keter. I think it's Keter. I read somewhere that it's pronounced like sweater, but I think that's stupid. So I'm going to say Keter. That's the scary ones. That's the one you put them in the box, they break out of the box and eat you. So,
man, how relatable.
Yeah, if you want to make your SCP scary, you make it a Keter. If you want to make your SCP really scary, you're like, it's not a Keter, it's a super Keter. There are a couple that do that. Usually it's not super Keter. But there are some other, like, weird classes where it's like, it's really scary, guys, I swear. It's so scary, it's got its own class. There's some other ones, but they don't matter. There's this weird trend, sort of, lately, where they have, like, not only the containment class, but these other scales. It's like, that's too much. I don't know what those scales mean.
The lizard people.
Yeah.
The scales.
There's Thaumiel class, which is for objects that help the Foundation, but I didn't include any of those, so it doesn't matter.
I think that's just a Minecraft mod. Thaumiel. Isn't that a Thumb?
Oh, Thumbcraft! That was a good one. Tell that joke again and I'll laugh.
No, it wasn't a joke. Isn't that just a thing?
No, it's not. Well, maybe that's why it's called that. I don't know. Apparently I don't like any of them because none of them are on the list. So then we can just ignore those.
Okay, good.
One thing I think is really cool about it is that there's officially there's no canon. So like in one SCP, if you want like, okay, the Foundation was founded around the American Civil War, you can do that. Another one, it's been around since like 3000 BC. You could do that too, and that's fine.
Okay, so if someone eats all the 05 people, then they can just like come back for the next story.
That's right, yeah. Or if in one scenario, something breaks containment, and it's like, oh, everyone saw it. That doesn't necessarily mean that's always happened, like in another scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's neat. They are allowed to, like, if you want to make yours in the same canon or something, you do that. But like by default, they're not.
Okay.
And I say that because if any of these contradict other ones, don't take that as it's immediately false.
Mm-hmm.
That could be true. That's the point. All right, do you have any questions? There will be an exam.
Oh, should I have been taking notes?
Yeah.
I got Thumbcraft from Minecraft.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Is there also a Tekkit class?
Maybe there's like one. Like I said, there are I think a handful that are. It's not literally super catered, but they do that where object class is gonna kill you. I think there is a joke one though that's like a bug that got in the house, and it's like object super cater, kill it! Oh god! I think that one's really good. Are you ready to start?
I've never been more ready. Actually, I don't. So tell me about the rules, though.
Oh well, first I'm going to read the number. So SCPs all have a number. It goes up to like 1 billion or something.
Okay.
They all have names.
Okay.
I might stop reading the names because I think my names aren't as good as their names. It'll be a dead giveaway, but we'll see. And I'm going to give you the object class.
Okay.
And I've got all those written on my notebook.
Nice.
Then I'm going to give a really crappy description of it. You can ask questions. I will completely fail to answer. I think I'm going to botch this really bad.
That will just make it better.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking a little louder than you on the thing now, but I also don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are also talking louder than me, so it does make sense.
I'm more excited because I just love SCPs. Yeah. I love Thumbcraft, and I love eating all those D class. So
yeah, the SC and the P in Buttsmaster stands for SCP.
That's true. Yeah, the S stands for Thumbcraft. So I think the lore is it's secure, contain, protect, but in the article it's secure containment procedures.
Oh, okay.
And they also like to do this thing and be cute. Well, they'll have like a front agency that'll always have those initials, which is like kind of stupid, but it's fun.
Nice.
Like
some cool place.
Yeah, like
SCP Foundation.
Yeah, like the front would be called Steve's Custom Paintings or something.
All right.
Anyway, you ready to begin? It hasn't been 15 minutes yet, I don't think, but we're getting close. It's been like 12, so. So remember, your job is to just say things that are not relevant in any way.
Okay.
And my job is to read these. That's the end of that sentence. All right. Ready to get started?
I'm ready. Hit me.
SCP-1057. Also, these aren't in any kind of order.
Okay.
I randomized the list. Absence of shark. Safe class. It is a living, sentient void of nothing in the shape of a shark that acts like a shark.
I entirely thought it was just a place that didn't have any sharks.
I kind of want to make you guess what the name is going to be, but at the same time, I have a lot of these because I thought it would take a while to get through, but they kind of get worse towards the end, so if we don't make the last
we get tired.
Yeah, so it's a void shaped like a shark that acts like a shark. You can put objects in it, but it gets real mad, and it can eat stuff. And when they put like colored dye in it, they like can see the colored dye.
Oh, nice. So it's like the prank in like public pools where you put in like black sharks.
Actually, that's where they found it. They found it in a pool and it had eaten a bunch of people, and let's take that thing. It looks like an SCP to me. They all have containment procedures, and they're usually really boring, and I don't read them. So, like, if you ask her how they're containing it, I might not know because I might have just.
I mean, I have a guess that it's a big tank of water.
Yeah, the safe ones are fairly anyway. Like 871, self-replicating cake, Keter class. It's a bunch of cake that if you eat the cake, the next day it comes back.
Okay.
If you don't eat the cake, the next day it makes a copy of itself. And then, like, both of them do that, where they come back. Oh,
so that's why it's Keter? Someone needs to eat some cake every day?
That's right, because it's Keter, because if they don't eat it, it will completely overrun the world.
By the way, why was the shark safe, shouldn't the shark be like the middle one? Because don't they need to feed it still?
You would think. I might understand the classes wrong.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be one of those things where it's like, it's kind of borderline, who cares?
Oh, like maybe it doesn't need to eat, but it just does for fun?
Yeah, I don't know. And it could also be safe is... Like, to some people, safe is throw some food its way, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
The borders are kind of fuzzy.
Well, really, if the not shark could just eat all the cake, and then I think we have a solution here.
Boom! It might not
both
count.
real.
It might have to be eaten by a human.
Oh, okay.
Also, remember, there's no canon. The shark might not exist in the...
Yeah, but I think the shark just exists in our world, so...
Oh, yeah. Hopefully it does. 3696. But that was all I had to say about the cakes.
I know, it checks out.
3696. The world's greatest detective.
Okay.
Keter. It is a man of indeterminate age, wearing your sort of stereotypical detective, trench coat, the detective hat. He appears sometimes at random, very rarely, whenever a crime is committed. And he will start going on about solving the crime, and then spout just this really long stream of absolute nonsense that makes no sense. But it'll turn out to be right. But here's the thing. And I have to explain other SCP lore.
Okay.
There's these, some canons have these, some don't. I think they're stupid. These, objects or, devices that can, stabilize reality against, reality bending and stuff.
Okay.
They're called Scranton reality anchors. Some people hate these things. But in this particular canon, they have, documents and things stored near a reality anchor. It appears that the detective was not correct originally, but reality was instead changed to make him correct.
Okay.
And whenever they go interview the suspects and stuff afterwards, even though they can remember being there doing the things, they can't explain why they were doing it.
Oh, so he alters reality to make. So if he's oh, Jake is the murderer, then Jake didn't actually kill anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks he did.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
And he's Keter class because whenever they try to contain him, he will just sort of disappear, just like how he just sort of appears. So they currently can't contain him.
This is harder. You were making this out it'll be super easy, but I'm thinking about
this might be one of my better ones.
Because I think, my logic is the world's greatest detective sounds like something you would write, but it sounds so much like something like that. That's what I would write, exactly. So it seems like it has to be real, because you wouldn't write that one if it was fake. You wouldn't pick that one. And then the cake just sounds really legit. It sounds like a thing that'd be funny, oh, haha, it doesn't sound bad, but it's it's a big thing. Which leaves the shark, which I thought was real when you first read it. But it kind of feels like the least real one now. But unless you just, super reverse me on the greatest detective. But I think I'm going to go with... So you made up one of these, right?
I made up one, the other two are real, and I randomly generated the numbers for the ones I made. Okay.
I think you made up the shark.
I actually made up the detective.
Oh, no! Because it sounded so, exactly like what I would write, as a joke.
Was one of the later ones that I came up with today, because I had to finish the quiz. So I panicked and just wrote stuff.
You got me. I was busy trying to be the world's greatest detective.
Also, for the record, all of the ones on this list that are real are ones that I like, or at the very least, remembered well enough to put them on the list. I didn't put any on here either that I just picked completely randomly, or that I don't actually like. Mm-hmm. So,
also, to be fair, the reality anchors thing had just me entirely sold. I didn't think you talked about this.
Yeah, so those are real. Okay. I knew that sounded like something I would write, so I threw in a little aside about some Foundation tech. I think some of the other ones might use the reality anchor, so I was going to have to mention it eventually.
Okay.
But the community is divided on that, because that goes a little bit outside the realm of science to magitech. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, how would they know he was bending reality if they didn't have a way to... You feel? So, some stories can't be told without them.
Yeah, unless you have, a really, solid... a grasp of writing to, do, implication.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
I could say that, the suspects can't explain why they were doing these things. But that doesn't say Oh, he bent reality to make himself right. That just says, like...
It would require a lot of reading between the lines and, like,
Mhm.
interpretation.
Yeah. Some of them do absolutely go for that between the lines stuff,
Mhm.
but none of them are my favorites because I'm too stupid. Alright, ready for round 2?
Yeah, okay.
Alright. Let me mark down that I won on the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the anime quiz, we got just about equal to random guessing, so we'll see if I can get that.
So you got that one wrong. Okay.
I did.
SCP-738, The Devil's Deal.
Okay.
Keter class.
Ooh. It's you get like a fiddle from him, right?
That's right. You're close. It's a desk and 2 chairs.
Okay.
And when you sit in one chair, the devil appears in the other chair, and you can make a deal. And he will offer you stuff like they tested with 1D class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "I'll give you your freedom, but your best friend dies." And the D class is like, "Yes, that sounds great." So the friend dies, the D class escapes in the containment breach, and is recaptured 4 hours later. That kind of thing. So the devil does what he says, but only just.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, they send in a lawyer to go negotiate with him. And after like 2 days, he collapses unconscious because he's been awake too long straight.
The lawyer or the devil?
The lawyer.
Oh.
And their contract is like 1,000 pages long, and they haven't made a deal yet. So I think that's funny.
Can you eat and stuff at the desk?
Yeah, one guy I got a sloppy Joe. That
Nice.
was his deal.
That sounds good.
And I presume he ate it there.
No, I was just wondering because that would mean like do you have to like outlast starvation to like make your really long deal?
Right. Well, most people don't take that long. I think it was just a lawyer joke.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, it's good.
That off the bat, that sounds pretty reasonable.
SCP-1333, a bed of nails.
Okay.
Safe class. You know those sideshow attractions where you lay on the bed of nails, but like because there's so many nails you don't like get stabbed?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, except when you lay on it, it feels like a regular mattress.
Oh.
Not like nails, you know. If you fall asleep on the bed, then you go into this like kind of stasis thing where you don't age or need food or anything like that.
Nice.
When removed from the bed, you sort of immediately age all the time that you spent in stasis.
Okay, less nice.
Yeah. If you wake up while you're on the bed, you won't wake up naturally, but if you get woken up,
Okay.
You don't age until you're removed from the bed. And depending on how long you were asleep, there's like you sort of innately know that something bad will happen when you get off the bed. You have a resistance to it.
So does that mean like if you're waking up on the bed and then you stay on the bed and like that's like your desk, are you immortal? Do you
You
age
would age while you were awake normally.
Okay.
But you don't gain the like missing time until
you
you're
step
removed
off
from it. Yeah.
Okay. So could you just use this as like a normal bed and then you just sleep for like 8 hours and then get off the bed and then you age 8 hours?
Well, theoretically, but you would need someone to wake you up. Because
Okay.
you do not wake up naturally because you're in like stasis.
Okay.
But yes, I think that you absolutely could.
Okay.
Just you're probably not supposed to because they probably have it in a box somewhere.
Fair enough.
Um,
It's like, old Dale. He's really tired. He's just laid down on the nail bed again.
yeah.
Oh, I gotta go get him. Well, let's play a prank on Dale and let's let him age for like 4 years.
Classic tale.
Classic Dale.
Or 2597 minus 2 kilograms.
Okay.
Safe. It is a weight that weighs negative 2 kilograms.
Okay.
It's pretty much it. So
Does
like
it float?
yeah, so it like goes up, and then as it's going up because of gravity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It like hits air particles and stuff, and every hit, because it would bounce off, but it's inverted, like makes it go faster. So like, yeah, if we let go of this thing outside, it'd probably really bad.
Oh, so it would just like it's just like reverse gravity.
Yeah, so every sort of force is acting on it in backwards.
So it's not like helium where it's just lighter than air. It's like lighter than everything.
Right. It weighs, for all intents and purposes, negative 2 kilograms.
Okay.
So forces act on it like invert. It's really weird to think about.
Okay. So let's see. So these are good. Unless you just like stack this to the end is like all terrible.
Well, might have.
No, these are neat. Okay, so deal with the devil. That sounds like realistic. You did have the throwaway thing about the sloppy Joe, which could have just be like a cheeky thing. Are SCPs usually cheeky like that?
So that's a great question. I think a lot of the time it's frowned on, but some of the older ones can get away with it,
Okay.
and I tend to prefer ones that are a little cheeky.
Okay.
So, like, if someone who loves SCPs watches, they're like, wow, this guy only picked shit ones. Some of them are a little bit,
Okay.
like okay, no, none of the ones we've done so far have a reference I can use because we're only on question 2.
Yeah, this is taking a
Yeah, there used to be a trope all the time where the last thing in the article will be a doctor's, like a note from one of the doctors, like, don't use this SCP for such and such, blah, 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 blah. Like people like you said with the bed, like if that was a real one,
Yeah.
like that would be, there'd be a doctor's note at the end. It doesn't have this. This is only if it's like way old. You know what I mean? Or like with the devil, right? Like there'd be a note at the bottom like, don't use this object for stupid bullcrap.
Mm-hmm.
Signed Dr. G. That kind of thing. Or like, don't use this bed for sleeping because someone will have to come wake you up, Dale. Right? Like,
yeah.
They don't have that. That's pretty much completely been phased out. And I think none of the ones that did that survived. But yeah, some of them get cheeky sometimes.
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with that one, the deal with the devil is real. Because that sounds legit. And then...
There's the bed and the minus 2 kilograms.
The bed is like more boring. But I'm trying to figure out if that means that it's more realistic or not. You mentioned the thing about... I feel like if you made the minus 2 kilograms one, you would just say it acts... gravity is reversed. You wouldn't say, oh, it bounces the air molecules reversed. That sounds very SCP. The fact that it bounces
the air particle. There's also a note at the end from the agent complaining about how hard it was to carry this thing from where they found it to the SCP office.
Wouldn't they just hold it like this? I had my hands up, and it would it'd just be like holding it upside down.
The normal force on your hand pushing it down pushes it up. So as you push down on it, it would go up.
Yeah, so it's just like carrying a 2 kilogram weight, which is upside down.
Right, but then to make it come with you as you step forward, you have to push it backwards.
Oh, the whole thing is reversed.
Uh-huh.
Okay, with that incline, that sounds mean to say I don't think you would have thought of that. But that sounds like someone put a lot of thought into that.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing. I think you made the bed of nails.
That's right, that was mine.
Yay, I got it!
Nice work. And that's exactly what I was concerned about. I was worried mine will be like the most boring ones.
No, I liked it, but I was just like, okay, someone put a lot of effort into that 2 kilogram.
That's what I'm also like, I feel like I'm going to answer the questions like too much.
No, you answered all my bed questions as well.
That's true.
You answered all of my Dale questions.
I have another one that I'm going to have to explain.
Okay.
Are you ready to move on, sir?
I am, yeah.
I know with ours we talked about the animes a little bit afterwards, but I kind of feel like there's not as much...
explain about the bed of nails?
There's not much to talk about with most of these.
Okay.
Unless you had anything.
No, that's good.
I didn't want to rush you.
The bed of nails would be great for insomniacs.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to, like, rush you or anything, you know what I mean? I just, like... I wanted to rush you.
I just want to rush you.
Let's turn it up. Okay, so this one's going to need a little explaining.
Okay.
SCP-1812. Extra lunar meme. In SCP's, meme does not mean, like, Amogus.
Okay.
It is, it's using it in the, like, dictionary definition sense. So,
like cultural impact?
Yeah, meme is, like, an idea, essentially.
Yeah.
Rather than Amogus, or whatever. So, it's not... Amogus.
Okay.
1812. Extra lunar meme. Keter class.
Da, da, da.
It is a second moon on Earth. You can only see it if it's pointed out to you.
Okay.
Once you've seen it, you start to sort of experience the effects that a second moon would have. Most common being the tides. To you, it'll look like the waves are way higher or way lower than they are.
Okay. Okay. And so the gravity will be different, but only for you. Right.
And if you go out in the water where there's not water, you can't swim in it, but you will drown.
So what happens to satellites? Do they start looking weird only to you? And what if there's a spacecraft? Does it crash only for you?
That's a great question.
Okay.
I do not have the answer for you, but it's a great question.
Fair enough. Okay, do you just see the moon next to the other moon, or is it you see a moon in daytime and in nighttime?
Oh, that's okay. I can answer that. It's not really. It's like a weird flat asteroid kind of thing orbiting the Earth.
Oh, okay.
And it is at a different rate and speed than the moon. One thing that was neat was that different people can see the second moon in different places in the sky. So, like, if I say, hey, look, there's a second moon in the sky, and you look, like, you might see it, even if it's in a different place than I'm seeing it.
So it's not real. It's just a meme.
Right, that's what's tricky. They've done tests, and when the test is run by someone who can see it, it's real. And when the test is done by someone who can't see it, it's not real.
You'd be an absolute gigachad to include the word meme in one of your fake answers.
Wouldn't I be? That'd be awesome. Can you imagine?
If you did that, you're an absolute legend.
That whole little spiel was just a lie.
It's just entirely lying so you can trick me into picking a literal meme answer.
SCP.
I like that one, though.
Thank you. For not my work that I didn't make up.
Yeah, obviously.
But I'm glad you liked it. SCP-2317. A door to another world.
Ah, the
Keter
Isekai
class.
door.
Not quite. Okay, so you go through the door, and you're in like a big flat gray area.
Okay.
And there's 7 pillars. And the pillars extend like into the ground.
Okay.
And they found with like sonar imaging or some crap, there's a big giant monsterman under the ground.
Okay.
And like a big hole. And he's got chains connecting to every pillar. But 6 of them are broken. So there's only 1 chain.
That's not great.
It's not great. We have no idea how to fix the chains. And no idea how to contain him.
You can't just get like a chain at like Best Buy?
No. But there is a containment where you do this weird like ritual where like cut the head off a chicken and pour the blood around and stuff.
Okay.
That does nothing, but it's instilled to give the staff like confidence. Yeah, we got it. We're good.
Yeah, we got him.
And it's one of these articles. It's called a format screw. It's where the format is different than usual. It's in the biz, we call it format screw.
Yeah, we call it a lunar meme.
Yeah, you have to go through all these different documents. So like you see the level 1 one where it's like, it's a door, don't touch it. And you see the level 2 is it's a door, if you go through it, do this, but like don't. And then you get up to like the level 4, it's like it tells you the whole ritual. And then you get to like the 05 versions, yeah, it's all bullshit. He's going to eat us.
Okay, so there's like a big monster. Have they seen this big monster?
On like the sonar imaging kind of thing.
Okay, but
they haven't like dug a hole to him.
Okay. But it's presumed that once the last pillar breaks, then he's going to get raised.
When we found it, I think he had a couple chains still in him. Every time one breaks, something really bad happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, did you write that one? I don't know.
SCP-492. Cold storage.
Okay.
Safe.
Okay.
It is a warehouse in Russia where anything stored in the warehouse will very slowly be turned into cooked king crab. The only thing that is not susceptible to this effect is a note that they found on the floor. On it. It was written in Russian, like a handwritten note that said something like, what did it? It was like a, how's this for value, ungrateful bastards? Or something like that. And they've not been able to locate who wrote this note.
Okay. So everything, so the warehouse walls aren't turning into king crab, but everything in the building.
Everything inside, like all the shelves, all the anything on the shelves.
There's no crates or anything because they turned to king crab.
Right. If anyone stays in it too long.
Okay, so how quick are the effects? Like if you just walk in, like let's say I like walk in and walk out.
You're fine. It's really slow.
Okay. But if I like walk in and then sleep on the nail bed,
and
then wake up in like 8 hours, then I would become a king crab?
And so would the nail bed.
Okay.
But they're already cooked. So they like go bad really fast.
What about like, okay, is it all just like one big thing of king crab, or does like my shirt become a king crab and I become a king crab and my pants are a king crab?
These are fantastic questions. I do not have an answer for you.
They didn't chuck a D-class member in there.
They probably did, but they didn't tell us about it.
They just wanted some king crab, I think.
Yeah.
And you said it was cooked king crab, right?
Yeah, it's already been cooked.
The question is, why is it the cold storage if it's cooked?
Because it's in Russia.
Why do they call it of-in? The cold food. I'll eat the food. Okay, so it's lunar meme.
Extra lunar meme.
And then we have the isekai door.
Door to the isekai dimension with big monster man with one chain left.
Mm-hmm. And then you have...
The turn into the king crab room.
Turn into a crab room.
Turn into a crab room.
Oh, I love all these.
I wrote all 3 of them, thank you.
Which one did you write? I'm standby. I don't think... If you did write the lunar meme, that'd be amazing, but I don't think you did. So did you Big monster sounds kind of generic. But King Crab is so funny though. And I think you picked I think you tried to pick like the interesting ones that stand out. So I'm thinking maybe you picked King Crab and then you made up the monster one? I'm going to say you made up the door.
I made up the King Crab.
No! Oh, it was so good!
I will say, the main reason I picked the door to another world is because I thought it was a Apollyon class. And I wanted to confuse you by including one of the scary ones that's not Keter class, but it's Apollyon. It's more scary.
Oh.
But it's not anymore. I swear it used to be, but someone changed it out from under me.
They added an extra chain.
Yeah.
They did the chicken ritual.
But it's still one of my favorite, it relates to my favorite joke SCPs, where it's the same idea, door, scary monsterman, but the door, it just has a sticky note on it that says, like, monster inside, don't open. And they have a bunch of scenes where a doctor, like, walk up, like, hey, if you open the door, free pizza. And they're like, oh boy, free pizza. And he reaches for it, and he sees the note, like, wait, where's the pizza from? And like, oh, Scarlet King's thighs. Sounds great. He reaches the note, and it's like, wait, look at the note. That's the Scarlet King. He's gonna eat you. It's like, oh, you can't get me this time, Scarlet King. Curses, foiled again. It's one of my favorite. And then
just keep the door closed.
Right. It's just, and at the end, due to a horrible sketch scene mistake, every official SCP guy is out that day. So just D-class are just hanging out, and they open the door, and the big monster man's called the Scarlet King, at least sometimes. He's like, finally I'm free! And he goes, and like his finger is too big to fit through the door, so he's just stuck.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's one of my favorite joke SCPs. So he gets on the list anyway, but I thought he was a Apollyon class, and that's why I put him in. Could you imagine if it was like 2317, Apollyon? I'm really glad it faced off against Extra Lunar Meme.
The lunar meme. I know that's a real term. I did a report once about how memes impact society, and it was that type of meme, not like internet meme. But that was so ballsy.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Oh gosh. Okay, what's the next round?
Okay. SCP-3433 runs on everything.
Okay.
Safe class. It is a copy of Doom that when you play it on your computer machine, right? It's as you play, like the longer you play, the amount of CPU time and stuff it takes up keeps going down to the point it wraps around and it starts being negative. So like at that point, like your computer can run more than it should be able to.
Nice.
Also, the game gets harder much faster, and seems to generate like levels infinitely. Like it just keeps going.
Okay.
But of course, it gets hard very quickly, so it's very hard to. They don't really know that it's infinite, but it seems like it.
It just seems like it. Like they haven't gotten like a professional like Doom speedrunner to come in and like confirm.
But what they have done is they want to use this thing for like AI development and supercomputing and stuff. So they had to write an AI that's really good at Doom to constantly play Doom to free up the computer for other stuff.
Okay, but I am just entirely sold that this is real. like that's such a classic internet joke, the Doom running on everything. This has to be real.
It's interesting, actually, the next one that's competing against. SCP-1633, the most dangerous video game. Safe, so it's not that dangerous.
Yeah, the safest video game.
It is a game. It's like a RPG tactics squad game.
Okay.
Where as you play it, the enemies sort of study your play and like become smart and sort of actively do strategies that oppose you.
Okay.
And then as you continue, they eventually, instead of opposing your characters, they oppose like you, the player. So like one example they gave was the enemy started using flash attacks in such a pattern to give the player a seizure.
Oh, okay.
Another one was like a guy who was abusing a lot of glitches. They sort of pushed him under the world or he couldn't do anything anymore and he rage quits.
Does it like flash like really loud sounds and just become like unbearable to hear?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
They only listed a couple of, examples.
So if you like, can it like kill you or anything? Do you die in real life?
Yeah, so okay, they killed one guy with the seizure.
Okay.
There's another guy they had him play through the whole game and he beat the game. And then saved, and it made he played it so fast that they didn't have time to generate this stuff. And he did a new game plus, and it put up like TV static that killed him.
Okay, spooky.
Yeah, very scary, but it's still safe.
But it doesn't do, like, magic or anything. It doesn't, like...
Come out of the machine, no.
Yeah, like, the wires on your machine come out, like...
No, it doesn't, like, start strangling you with the mouse.
Okay.
And then, finally, 882. A machine. Euclid class. So it is this big old mishmash of gears and crap and stuff that, so if it is like, they keep it submerged in seawater, so it stays all rusty.
Okay.
When it's not rusty, it all starts spinning and stuff without any kind of power source.
Okay.
It's completely quiet, but the longer you spin around it, you start hearing in your head, like, gears clanking and squealing and stuff. And the only way to make the sounds, like, stop that is add metal to it. And as you add metal, like when
you like get your guitar out and you like add a bunch of metal.
That's right.
You start playing. You start shredding.
The metal components attach to the machine and sort of become more gears and spokes and stuff.
Is this like steampunkish? It sounds steampunkish.
I guess.
Or is it just like a big old clanky thing?
It's a big old clanky thing. You know, gears and spokes and chains and.
Does it visibly change?
Yeah. So like if I added like a pipe to it, like as soon as I add the pipe would like stick and like be on one of the gears.
Okay.
And then if I came back the next day, the pipe might have turned into like a spoke.
Okay.
And then you add, something else to it, and that turns into a gear on the spoke.
Does it have to be like all metal? Like what if what if I have like, I don't know, like a shirt that has like metal buttons on it? Can I just slap the shirt on there?
I think the rest of it just gets like crunched up. They do that to some people with like fillings in their teeth. They just chuck them.
Oh, okay. Or like the iron in their blood or whatever.
Yeah, it's really scary.
Okay.
It's like, wow, that's scary.
So what does it do? Just it makes a clanky sound in your head?
Yeah, but you can make it stop clankying, like feeding it metal. Okay. But then it comes back and you have to feed it more metal. One of those things.
Oh yeah. So it's constantly running though.
Unless you have it all rusty and crap.
So how do they make it rusty? Put it underwater?
Right, they have it under like a bunch of seawater to just like.
Oh, so it's good now.
Problem solved.
I thought it was like Euclid, isn't it? Wouldn't that make it just safe if they just like plopped it underwater?
I may not have thought of that. I mean, they may not have thought of that. I told you the definitions are a little fuzzy.
Okay.
Maybe it's because it's so scary when it does get out.
Okay. I think that was a bluff. Because I was leaning towards that one being real. Actually, I'm 100% sure the Doom one's real. Like, and it just seems if you made up that one, you're an absolute genius. Because that's absolutely something I would make up. I'm actually leaning towards the middle one, the
most dangerous video game.
Yeah, the video game being the one you made up. Because I was thinking the big clanky thing, that sounds really legit. And the video game also sounds pretty legit. But I feel like if it was a real SCP, it would kill you easier. I feel like it would do all the weird stuff with the mouse. Like,
I could see that.
So I'm going to go with you made the middle one.
So you think I made up most dangerous video game?
Yes.
I made up Doom.
Really? You made up Doom?
But
that one's so good.
That was the first one I made up when my brain was still working.
I didn't even remotely question that. I knew that one had to be real. Wow, that's really good. So well done.
Hang on, you didn't get the crab one, right?
No, I did not get crab one.
And I tested that Doom one on my buddy who we had on another podcast, you remember?
Yeah.
And he correctly picked the Doom one. So clearly the competition I gave him was not as good.
Oh, so he knew that it was Doom. Before you even, maybe my brain's just rotted. Because before you even said the other ones, I was like, that one has to be real.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I wanted to make it Doom specifically. I thought that was specific enough that it wouldn't sound like I was it. But it wasn't like it was one of my favorite games.
No, yeah.
Plus, there's that joke, like you said, about Doom running on everything.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be...
Do SCPs, like, do they, like, have... I know we just talked about memes in terms of the Lunar meme, but do they have, like, regular internet memes in them, too?
There's one that's We Are Number One. I didn't include that. I was considering it.
Okay. So I was right to assume that there are things, like a Doom SCP isn't just, like,
No,
totally
yeah, some SCPs are literally just real things that happen. Okay. One that almost made the list but didn't quite, because I just didn't quite like it enough, is Bush versus Gore, the presidential election, as an SCP. It's pretty good, shockingly. But I didn't want to put it because you knew I wouldn't write that.
Yeah.
So there are ones that are just real things. Generally, I don't like at all the SCPs that just explain a real thing. Because it's like, you're wrong, though. There's actually a real reason that happened.
Okay. Yeah, man, good writing on that one.
Thank you.
Or just maybe I'm just a lot dumber than or what was that one? A Few Idiots podcast? The Few Idiots?
A Few Idiots podcast. I don't remember what name you came up with, but that was the best episode because like I wasn't in it as much.
Yeah. There's like at least a third of it that was like good.
That was good. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, I gotta step up my game. I'm not doing too well.
All right, maybe you'll get this one. SCP-085. Hand-drawn Cassie. And that's in quotes.
Okay.
That's the name. It is a lady who is a drawing.
But what's the class?
Oh, I forgot. It's safe. It's a lady who is a drawing. She was made in a different SCP. And she can, like, if you have her on one piece of paper and you put another one next to it, she'll, like, go through to the other one.
Oh, so she's like a fun friend.
Yeah.
Okay, this doesn't sound scary. Are they all scary? I guess they aren't.
No, I told you, I tend to like the ones that aren't horror and are more, sci-fi
More
and stuff.
Doom.
Yeah.
Well, no, you made up Doom. Okay, so what? So it's just like, who is she drawn by?
I don't remember.
Okay, so it's just like a cute stick figure woman.
She's like more realistic. She's like, and she like adapts to whatever art style is in the picture. Sort of.
Oh, so she goes into pictures.
Yeah, like she can go
okay.
into like paintings and stuff.
That's cool. Can she talk?
Yes.
Like, does she move around in the picture or just like between pictures?
Yeah, like in the picture. Like she's animated in the picture.
Oh, okay.
She can't talk with voice, but can do like sign language. And I think if she gets in a comic book, she can use the speech bubbles, but I'm not 100% on that.
Why are they just containing this person?
Because they're 2D? I don't know. It's scary.
I'm terrified.
What if you were the drawn picture that was in 2D?
Maybe I am.
Oh yeah.
Ta-da. Okay, that's the picture.
All right.
What's the second one?
You don't seem impressed by that one.
And they seem like a cool person to be friends with. And they don't seem like some sort of monster that would kill everyone.
But maybe this will be more up your alley.
No.
2459. When the traffic clears.
Okay.
Euclid class. It is a section of road where when you're on the road, you feel like you cannot leave the road.
Okay.
So this has caused a giant traffic jam because people don't want to leave.
Yeah.
But everyone in the traffic jam is obsessed with that they have to stay there. So like to the point they've like disassembled their cars to make like shelters and to use like gas as like currency and stuff. Now there's no food or water because it's a road, right? So the Foundation has to like pump in water and stuff.
Okay. So it's like some sort of like civilization that's built up on this section.
Yeah, and they can rescue people by like sending. Well, if they just send in an agent, the agent now can't leave, right? But if they send in an agent on like a tether, and the agent just grabs someone and then they yank them back, and then the Foundation has these things like memory wiper, like the Men in Black thing.
Yeah.
You know? They hit them with those a whole bunch of times, then they're good to go, and they send them home.
If they use like a Wile E. Coyote claw to pull them off.
Yeah, like an ultra hand. They have a really big ultra hand. They go whoop.
So are there some cars at the start of this pileup, or does every car feel like they have cars in front of them?
It's not clear to me.
Okay.
I think the ones at the front stopped because they didn't want to leave the area due to the anomalous effect.
Okay.
And everyone behind them stopped because now there are cars in the way.
Okay. That also, I'm leaning towards that one being real. It sounds like it was inspired by someone looking at the pictures of those like really huge like pileups.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then just like so like, what if this was a thing?
Oh, that's actually to mention. Some of these do have pictures. You can put in like a royalty-free picture on your SCP to make it scarier. But sometimes they're just pictures as normal shit. Like this one, I think, does have a picture of just a traffic jam. Yeah. It doesn't have any of the cars dissimilar things. That'd be hard to take a picture.
So I'm betting that this was probably made years ago when that was like really in the news. Like there's some huge pileup on like a massive highway. So I'm betting that one's probably real, but I was totally wrong last time I thought that.
Sure. Or like the Cassie one, she's done a picture of like, someone just drew a picture of a lady. It's like, bam, it's SCP. You know? Or 3234, Thunderstrike, Euclid. It's an anomalous battle bot. It's sentient. We can talk to it. It has a camera on the front. We've learned it can feel pain. One thing that ticks me off about this article is they don't tell us what weight class it's in.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us it's got like 4 wheels and like a thing, but it doesn't tell us the weight class. I don't know how big it is. It's like, come on, you're this close.
Yeah.
When they found it, it was missing like 2 of the wheels on one side, but they fixed it because it can feel pain. And they found out that it competed at one event. We don't know which one.
Mm-hmm.
It lost immediately. And then
because it can feel pain.
Because it can feel pain. And also, it's very pacifist. It doesn't like to attack anything.
Nice.
And then it was abandoned by its builder.
F.
F.
So it can communicate. Does it communicate like a pet or like a human?
Oh, great question. It can't talk or anything. It's like, if yes, drive forwards. If no, drive backwards.
Okay. So it's a lot more like a pet.
Right. You might write on the sign, can you feel pain? If yes, drive forwards.
What type of BattleBot is it? Is it like a spinner?
Oh, it does say. It's 4 wheels. It's got a pneumatic-driven axe. It just doesn't say the weight class. They're this close.
Okay. Now, you podcast listeners might not know this, but Buttsmaster is really, really into BattleBots.
That's true. That's why I know there were weight classes. Unlike someone.
The question is, I've already ruled out the middle one. I think that one's real. Now, the first round you fooled me, because I was like, the Ultimate Detective sounds like something you'd write. I bet you didn't write it. But did you do the BattleBot? Did you make up the BattleBot? Or is there just like one singular BattleBot SCP that you found and you put in the quiz?
Right. Because if I did find one, you know I'd love it.
Yeah, I feel like it might be dumb, but I'm inclined to think you did find the single BattleBot thing because of the fact that, like, you could go into a lot of detail on it, and I don't think you would have made it a hammer. I think you would have made it some other type of BattleBot.
Something that could actually win.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to think that you made Cassie. That's my answer.
I made the BattleBot.
I'm an idiot! Why am I stupid?
I was absolutely going for the double bluff on that one. That's why I mentioned they didn't say the weight class, because you know I would say the weight class.
Yeah, because I know that you're so... I can't believe you got me twice. I'm an idiot. But, because both of those sound exactly like you'd write them, but they sound so much like you'd write them that you couldn't have possibly written them.
That wasn't what I was going for with the detective. That was just raw panic. But Thunderstrike I wrote specifically as a double bluff to try to trick you. Mm-hmm. I was a little concerned. It's against some really not great competition, but I kind of think that helped it because it was like 2 really boring things, and then like you absolutely wrote that.
Yeah, but it's like it was so much that you wrote that you couldn't have written that.
Yeah.
And they're like little things that were wrong.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have made it a hammer, and you probably wouldn't have made it like lose so bad, and you probably wouldn't have named it Thunderstruck, like all this stuff.
Thunderstrike's not even a good name. It should be Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
Or Thunderbolt or something.
Okay, that's fine. I'm doing worse on this quiz than you did on mine.
I am. Well, wait till we get to the back 9. You'll see.
You were really worried that I would just instantly get it.
I was really concerned that all of mine were awful, and specifically I was concerned that mine were just going to be the most boring one every single time. So I'm really glad that that's not transpired.
No, I'm just a large idiot.
It's the name.
I'm one of the 2 idiots.
By the way, let me know if you want to take a break from the show. I know we took a break about halfway through the other one, so I just wanted to mention.
Cool, yeah, no, I'm good to keep going.
Great.
I think I've only gotten like 1 right.
Yeah. You'll get this one right. SCP-2126, Fear of the Unknown. Safe class.
Okay.
It is a portal in the back of a cave, and when you go through the portal... Okay, so first of all, only one person can go through the portal. Okay. If you and I both went through it, we'd end up in different...
Okay.
We wouldn't be in the same place.
Mm.
So through the portal is your generic fantasy land with wizards and knights and things.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out the land is under attack from an evil something. And the something is based on what that person is the most afraid of.
Okay, so the Demon Lord is whatever you're most afraid of.
Right.
So it'd be you're a burden to your friend's lord or whatever.
Right. And so, yeah, and they do, like fear of heights is one that they did example, but they didn't tell me what he looks like. How is the demon lord the fear of heights? That doesn't make sense. Is he just at the top of a big stairs, like a big staircase?
Very tall.
Right, maybe he's just really tall. Anyway, so and you can go on a quest to defeat the demon lord.
Okay.
If you don't do the quest, or you finish without finishing the quest, back in the real world, your fear gets worse and worse until it like eats you. You know.
Okay.
Like if you were afraid of heights, like you get to the point like you couldn't like walk down the stairs and all this stuff.
Okay.
If you do defeat the demon lord, you completely remove yourself of that fear, to the point that, again, with the fear of heights example, if you're on a plane and like given the opportunity to walk out the door, you see nothing wrong with it. So it's like you're free of it too much, you know.
Okay.
If you go back in, it'll be exactly like it was when you left, so you don't like generate a new one with like your second best fear or whatever.
Can you like just go in and just like chill out with all the friends that you made along the way, like that just live there? Like, once you beat the demon lord, can you just chill with, like, all the villagers or whatever?
Nothing says you can't.
Nice.
So, I guess so.
Yeah, just, like, go in there. So, is it on Earth, the other world, or, like, totally different place?
It is Earth-like and has oxygen, but it's one of those hand-wavy, it's somewhere.
Oh, okay.
That, like, they send in someone with, like, a GPS tracker, and it doesn't, it doesn't help. But... $23.99. A malfunctioning destroyer.
Okay.
Keter class. It is a big space destruction machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know the great red spot on Jupiter?
Yeah.
That's this thing. It's causing it. It was coming into the some like Galileo or someone like saw it on their telescope like coming in, but it crashed into one of the moons on Jupiter and crashed onto Jupiter, and it like blew up and all its parts are all scattered around. But it's repairing itself. Like it sends out these little drones to go and get parts and bring them back and fix it. The Foundation sent out an array of satellites called the Barrier Array, and they all go around Jupiter to block incoming signals.
Okay.
So until I don't know, like the 1900s, or something, until a certain time, semi-recently, the signal was like saying "repair, you're too damaged." But at some point, it changed to say, "All right, you're fixed enough. Keep going." And it's implied this thing is targeting Earth. It was supposed to land on Earth.
Oh.
But it stopped on Jupiter instead. One of the pieces, like, we've tried to, like, shoot it with, like, stuff, and it doesn't work at all. It's basically invincible. It's very scary. The Foundation has a plan to build like a gigantic EMP device and hit it with that, and then just throw a bunch of nukes at it, see what happens. But the problems are that that EMP device like doesn't exist or is even remotely close to existing.
Okay, so in the universe where that exists, Earth will just be destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the barrier array for now is preventing it from getting that signal, so it's still on Jupiter.
Oh.
But they're concerned that as it fixes itself, because we can't stop it fixing itself. They tried to, it didn't work.
Okay.
That it'll eventually be able to hear the signal through the barrier array.
Mm-hmm.
And then be like, guess I should head on to Earth. Here we go. So.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Again, my gut is there's too much lore for you to have made that up. I think that one's probably real. But I've been so wrong. Maybe I should just think it.
SCP-1193, Buried Giant. Safe class.
Safe.
It is a big, long arm sticking out of a drain pipe. So the arm is in the drain pipe, and it just keeps going down, and it keeps going. Mm. And they've measured the arm to a certain point, but then it gets too hot and melts all the equipment, but the arm's like still going. I think it said something like elbows every 2 kilometers or something. So it's a really long arm.
Oh, so there are multiple elbows?
Yeah, just like elbows all the way down.
What? But arm only one elbow have.
I know. It's an SCP. It's scary.
Oh, gosh. There's a guy with multiple elbows.
I know. It's crazy.
Is that what? Okay, no, that's not. So it's big. It's a big arm.
It's a very long arm in the drain pipe going all the way down. We don't know how far it goes. Next to the arm, there's a phone. The phone cords go down next to the arm. Mm-hmm. Every so often, we get a call, presumably from the guy on the other end of the arm. He always assumes that whoever he's talking to is someone in a position of authority, so he's like really easy to interview. Okay. And he often is talking about So for one thing, he likes to talk about a cousin who's going to come get him. For another thing, he talks about, it sounds like he almost, but not quite, has a human body. Like he'll say, "Hey doctor, when are we going to get this cast off my bottom arm?"
Okay.
He also talks about having a appendage stuck in something a lot.
I think I get that one. I think it's his arm.
Yeah.
But how thick is this arm?
It's a normal arm size, it's just very long.
Okay. And it goes down, you said they drill down until their tools melted from heat.
Uh-huh. They have scanned it as far down as they are possibly able. Keeps going.
He says this is the buried giant?
Yes.
But only his arm is giant.
Well, we don't know what the rest of him looks like.
It's so hard. Why is this so hard? Okay. I stand by. I think that the Great Red Spot one was real. So did you make up long arm person?
Long arms McGee? That's not what they call
The
him.
fact that there are multiple elbows is weird to me. Like, why was that detail thrown in? Why'd you say that? Why? Why? How could you?
I thought it was important.
No, so that, or you had the world where it's your greatest fear.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned the fear of heights a lot. Do they do any other fears?
No.
Okay.
I just gave that one example. It couldn't be ours.
Which one did you do? I'm gonna say Long Arm Man is real, and you made up the fantasy scary door.
You got one!
Yes!
Very nice. What's funny is I actually wrote Fear of the Unknown. That's the longest one I wrote. I wrote it to be the most lore-filled. And then it came up against Malfunctioning Destroyer.
Yeah. I was close. That was hard because you had a lot of lore on that one.
Yeah, that one is over a page in my notebook on
Really?
of lore of just how the interactions work and stuff.
But it was really cool. I really liked that one.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of that one too. I felt like I needed at least one that was like a portal to some other dimension. I felt that's a pretty common thing.
Yeah.
But then it comes up against Malfunctioning Destroyer, one of my favorite entries. So, what can you do?
As an absolute loser, it would make a good plot to an anime.
The Destroyer?
No, the door.
Oh yeah, it would.
Where
For sure.
you go and you
I was
see,
aiming for something that you would like to try to make it more appealing, you know?
Mm-hmm. You did make up the other door, though. The other door was real. That was a fake door.
Yeah.
The 7-pillar door was real.
I thought that the door to another world, I thought that was called SCP-2017, the Scarlet King Apollyon class. I was very wrong. It's not called that at all. So it's a good job I checked. I read all of these today, just for the record here on the podcast. I read all of these today. That's a lot of reading. I mean, I don't read that much in a year usually.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
I can't read.
It was worth it for the special. But yeah, I'm glad you liked that one. It just... Buried Giant I like because it's so weird.
Yeah.
There's another thing he says. He's like, hey, can you help me out? I was making some cakes. I went in the oven to get the cakes. Now I'm stuck in the oven. And he's like,
what?
You went in the oven? He's like, yes, I'm stuck. Come get me out. It's just very weird.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I like that one.
It's good. Look at, definitely, Buried Giant, give it a read. It's really good.
Because I thought it was a robot, but no, it's just a guy with
Well,
a long
the
arm.
arm is human.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the rest of him looks like, and his descriptions aren't consistent.
Huh.
Also, his cousin's coming to pick him up.
That's good, I guess.
Who's his cousin? You know?
Yeah.
I also really like that take on a giant, where it's not stereotypical giant. It's his arm's really long.
Yeah.
I kind of like to think there's another arm on the other side of the world in a different drain pipe they haven't found yet. But
yeah.
033, the missing number, Euclid class.
Ooh.
It is a number in math that we missed, basically.
Durf.
You're on to me. We don't know which two it goes between. They do this thing sometimes. So SCPs love to not tell you stuff. It's one of those, you know. They can do bracket data expunged bracket. They can do bracket redacted bracket. But there's a third option where they just use a black box character to make it look like someone took a Sharpie to the online notes and crossed it out
Sharpie their
somehow.
laptop screen.
Yeah.
I do that frequently.
Right. So the numbers between black box and black box.
Mhm.
So it's like, well, that's not helpful. It like eats the paper it's written on,
Okay.
and if you like try to use an equation, like bad stuff happens.
I can't help but think it's a missing opportunity to not have the number be the missing number. Like, it's just 33.
Right.
Why is it not black
It
box?
should be black box, black box.
Yeah, that would have been great.
All right.
But this number.
That's all I have to say on that one.
No, it doesn't like. Okay, so let's say I'm just doing math, right?
Mhm.
And would this number just come up? Like, I get to the end of the equation, it's like, oh, I accidentally got the wrong number, and then the world implodes. Or do you have to actively seek it out?
I'm not quite clear. I think it said there was a series of like equations and operations that you can do to get to this number.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that makes any sense, but it is an SCP.
Yeah. Okay. So you can just kind of stumble on it, but like
Maybe?
only if you're like really unlucky.
That's probably about right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I'm trying to think about. I'm taking this seriously now.
Yeah, you gotta step up your game.
Yeah, I gotta get at least a third.
SCP-1368.
Okay.
Future Imperfect. Euclid class.
That's like the name of a song. That's the name of like a Sonic song.
That'd be from like Sonic CD where they go to the future.
Yeah, that's the Silver's theme. Is Future Imperfect.
Sorry, I thought I heard a ghost.
No, that you're hearing the number. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. So it is a mirror, and the reflection in the mirror is from 24 hours into the future.
Okay.
So you look in the mirror, but like your reflection would have been on there yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every prediction from the mirror comes true without knowledge. But if you have knowledge of the mirror, like, oh, I'm going to walk in front of the mirror tomorrow. What if I don't? You can do that.
Okay.
The instant something that should appear doesn't or doesn't appear should,
Mm-hmm.
The mirror goes to static and just shows like TV static for
Okay.
24 hours, and then it comes back online.
So what do you mean the moment it does? So like I
Right.
look at the thing and I see myself slap myself in the face in front of the mirror, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that tomorrow. Then
Mhm.
does it immediately go to static, or does it only go to static 24 hours from now when I don't hit myself in the
Yeah,
face?
it's a little unclear. I think what it's supposed to do is when the thing that it showed is no longer accurate. So it shows you standing there,
Mhm.
and then you slap yourself.
Yeah.
So the next day, you walk in front of it, you stand there, and then you don't slap yourself. And as soon as your arm doesn't start coming up, when it should start coming up, that's when it goes to static.
Okay. So like if I immediately just like turn the mirror around so it's not even looking in the right location, it would automatically go to static.
I guess. They don't do that. It's the thing.
They don't even get a D-class guy to do it?
Well, see, what they do with this mirror is they have it in a facility with lots of really dangerous SCPs, and they have a security camera on it. So if one of the SCPs breaches, they can see, oh, that's the big scary Star of the King guy running around. We should probably do something about that.
Okay.
So like, you might see the scary statue come out and start breaking necks, right? But then they have to think, well, okay, it got 2 D-class and Dr. Blackbox. Do we really care about those guys? We would have to, because they'd have to turn off the mirror for 24 hours. It's a couple
okay.
D-class and Dr. Blackbox really worth it? So they might just let it happen anyway.
Okay. So it's a security measure, but like kind of a bad one.
Right. But it's one of those, it's better than nothing. A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But then if they had one of the really scary ones breach, it's like we should probably stop that.
Yeah. Like the Scarlet King does sound like a bad one.
I don't know that they could stop him. That was kind of a bad example.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Put a sticky note on the door.
That's right. Well, on his side. Don't come in here.
Someone opened the door for pizza. That was the problem.
Oh, man. That's right. They would order pizza instead so that the guards aren't hungry anymore.
Right.
SCP-4001, Alexandria Eternal.
Okay.
Safe class.
That's a heck of a name.
Yeah. It is a big underground library.
Okay.
If you try to dig into it, you won't find it. It's one of those that's like, whoa, it's non-Euclidean.
Oh.
But if you go down the stairs, there's a big library. The library like if it's one of those deals where if you like stand here and you walk forward, like eventually you'll come all the way back around to where you started.
Oh, okay.
And it contains one book for every human being who's ever lived.
Okay.
New books are constantly generated and added to like the front of the library.
Okay. Wait, where's the front?
Where you come down.
Okay.
So you come down this tower. That's where the new books are being added.
Okay.
And if you go back, you get to like the oldest books because it's like wraps around.
Okay.
One book for every human being that's ever lived. In it is full information about their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You can read it. You can write in it. And that changes history.
Oh.
So like, you go find your book and write, and he was very attractive and intelligent, and bam! Changed history.
Can you go to someone else's book and write like where it says they died, right? Like, and then they came back.
You can. They test this thoroughly. It doesn't ever work very well. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work too good.
What is not too good?
You know, like, have you ever read The Monkey's Paw?
Yeah.
Where he wishes the sun back?
Oh, okay.
That kind of thing. They
Okay.
come back wrong.
Mm.
Not quite as scary as Monkey's Paw, but still kind of scary because it's an SCP.
But like, what if they just got like a really good writer to do it? And what if they just like got that lawyer back down and was like, okay, let me very specifically write. This person came back and looked exactly like this and did all of these things and then went on to find the cure for cancer.
They did exactly that as a test. And then the result was just data expunged.
Of course it was. Because they
couldn't think of what happened.
They couldn't figure it out. What do you mean they did exactly that?
So they have a series of tests where it's like, the D-class died, and then they came back to life, and then they just come back to life and die again.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they came back to life free of injuries, and like they came back, and it's like, wow, this sucks, and they died again.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like said very specifically wrote out blah 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 blah. Data expunged.
Oh, okay.
Like they came back to life and were free of any injuries and trauma, and they didn't immediately die. And it's like,
yeah, okay.
And then there's one of those wacky notes from a doctor like, Dr. So-and-so who ran this test has lost his Library of Alexandria privileges.
So that was one of the earlier ones that got written, then. Because you said only the doctor's notes were on, like, the early SCPs, right?
Oh, yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
So, because the numbers don't actually correspond to when they were written, right?
They don't. This is a later one, in theory,
Mm-hmm.
but some of them still have the... The note is not as wacky as I just said it was.
Okay.
Some of the notes were really wacky. This one was just, Dr. So-and-so has been removed from the project.
Okay.
And this line of testing has been discontinued.
I have no idea which one is real. Okay, so we have DERF. We have the fake number.
The missing number.
We have the middle one, the mirror that showed 24 hours of the future.
Future Imperfect, the Sonic song.
And then we have the one we literally just talked about, the Library of Alexandria. Alexandria
Eternal.
Okay, I'm leaning towards Alexandria Eternal is real for no real reason. So that leaves the mirror or the fake number. The mirror sounds kind of dumb, but I don't know if it's the kind of dumb you would write. It just kind of sounds
That's
like
what
it's
I was
general
worried
dumb.
about, was that you would peg onto my flavor of dumb immediately.
No, it just kind of sounds stupid. But like, it seems like it might be realistically stupid, and the number just is like vague enough. It's vague enough that you could have been like, I don't really have many more that I need to get from the site, or I'm running out of ideas. Like, and it could still be the library. I ruled that out for no real reason. But it just felt more real. Like
I couldn't come up with a name that cool.
No, it's not that. It's just like there was more going on, and you had a lot going on in the spooky door in the cave. So that one could be yours. But I just feel like I just gotta pick one. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna be mad either way when I get it wrong. Okay, you gave the specific detail of, like, Dr. Blackbox. So I'm going to say that was a real detail, and then you made up the number.
I made up the mirror.
I'm so mad! No, I can't do it!
The number was a really early one. That's why it's 033.
Mhm.
You're correct. The numbers do not correspond to how new they are.
Yeah.
But in this case, it does.
Okay.
They generally do. The thing is, like, the first 1,000 SCP slots were open, and then once those all got filled up, the second 1,000 opened. But the thing is, sometimes the really old ones suck and get deleted, and then someone new can put in one in that slot.
Okay.
So, like, 033 is more likely to be old than 4001, but it's not guaranteed. I thought there was a lot more to that missing number one, and there just wasn't. Like, I thought it was a really good one, it was really interesting, and then I read it, it's like, wow, that wasn't that great, actually. But I was already committed.
Why did you think this would be easy? This is like a disaster.
I'm sorry. I thought that my writing style would be extremely apparent. I guess the problem is,
I mean, you know the SCPs. I don't know.
You're getting them all filtered through my horrible description, so they all sound equally stupid. Also, Alexandria had like even way more lore than I told you. I just stopped because I knew if I said like. And then there was like a guy who was in there who was watching the library that was like millennia old because he kept writing in his book to make himself like live longer.
Yeah.
And they had these like robots that helped them categorize the books, and the robots got their own book in the library. And there's this whole subplot where like there used to be a different like not humans ruling the world, like it was like Homo nobilis or something. But something bad happened and they had to burn down the library and erase that they'd ever existed from history, and the humans were instead. I didn't even mention that stuff.
I know.
This article
probably would have made it more like you wrote it, though.
Yeah, this article's got a lot in it. It's quite the thing.
This is a hard quiz.
I'm
doing so terribly on it.
Do you want me to start doing worse?
No. Keep going. I want to see this.
All right.
How many questions do I have left? Can I beat?
We're on number 8, so we're halfway.
Okay, so I can still do it.
And actually, I was going to take a break after 8 because I need the bathroom.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can take a little break from combo.
SCP-423. It's 3 too high. The self-inserting character. Safe class. It is a entity that inserts itself into fictional stories as a character usually named Fred, or some derivative of Fred. He's usually a background character, and he's usually described as looking generic. Ask me some questions about Fred.
We're not going to keep going?
I got nothing else to say.
Does he have the same personality in every story?
Yeah, he usually just likes to stand back and watch. He can jump between books if they're in close physical proximity.
Okay, so does he like hang out with that drawing girl from like earlier?
No.
Could he go into a graphic novel?
Oh, good question. They don't answer it, but it's a great question. I think actually they did mention in comic books he could alter the text in the speech bubbles, but not the pictures. So, like, after he alters it, like, the pictures might not fit with the text anymore.
So he could just be like, hey guys, I'm here, but, like, he's off screen?
Right. And yeah, exactly. Like, it's our good buddy Fred, standing just off panel.
So, do they not... He's usually named Fred. Is he ever named anything else?
If he's in, like, a medieval, it might be Frederick. Okay. Or if it's like a sci-fi thing with our robots, it might be like FR3D or something.
Does he have the same basic characteristics?
Yeah, he's usually described as like a generic kind of character. So like if mostly humans, he'd be a human. If it's mostly something else, he'd be a something else.
Okay, but he does. Is he like always male? Is he always like he's always the average of the story? But like that doesn't mean like if a story takes place in like a Nordic country, he might have blonde hair. If it takes place in a different country, he might have like black hair. But yeah, whatever's the most average.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
There is. Yeah, that sounds right. Sure, let's go with that.
Okay.
I'm going to think of anything else to say about Fred. There is an extensive testing log where you can add your own examples of what happens when Fred goes into certain stories. That's linked from the page. Mm-hmm. I want Fred in my favorite story. I'm going to write it, and there you go. And write some Fred fan fiction.
Fredfic.
Fredfic, that's right.
You see, that's another one that's just, like, stupid, but I cannot tell. I think it's the real kind of stupid and not the you kind of stupid, but I don't know.
This is harder than I expected. Like, I think so they're all getting filtered through my absolute dog crap explanations.
I think you're doing a great job.
I want you to, like, if you actually go and read, like, The Buried Giant, like, wow, you explained that so badly. That wasn't even close.
It's like the VLR episode that I explained so terribly.
Yeah. All right. The next option, SCP-640. All work and no play. Euclid class.
The thing, a dull boy.
Yeah, this is one of those what we call a format screw. The entity
familiar.
has affected its own document, and it makes you play little games to like read the document, like you do like a crossword puzzle or like a hangman to like read the description. And the idea is that the entity likes playing these little games. And to play in the games with it in the document is part of its containment because then it's happy and stays in the document instead of...
So it's just a fun, cool thing that just wants to play games.
Yeah, instead of like pissing off into a different document, which it can also do.
So it's just like, this is not a monster, it just wants to play games with you.
Yeah, I mean...
So it's literally not evil at all.
Well, neither is Fred.
Oh, I guess Fred is... I mean, does it like kill you if you don't play games? It just literally just wants to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
It is.
We should get Fred and this thing and the picture later. Get them all together.
It's funny, actually, that Fred and this one are in the same bracket here.
Could Fred hop into the document and like be part of the crossword puzzle?
I suppose he could. Actually, Fred's does have a little joke about if you, for some reason, have to take physical notes, make sure you check the notes to see if they say, featuring guest researcher Fred at the bottom. So, yeah, I think Fred could hop into this document. They could hang out. I don't know that Fred's the type that would want to actually play the games, though. I think he'd want to watch other people play the games. Fred seems very passive to me.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. Okay, so are they all, like, do the games change as you complete them? Like, you finish the crossword, then another one comes up? Or is it still just done?
Well, probably because of limitations on writing the article. Like, it's the same puzzle every time.
Okay.
But... And they're word games because that's... No one went and wrote Doom and put it into the SCP article, you know?
Okay. But my brain is just going insane right now.
On a similar theme, SCP-2686. Moon Wizard!
The Wizard!
Euclid class. Okay, he's, on the moon. There's like a bubble.
Is he on the second moon?
No, he's on the first moon.
Okay, good.
There's like a bubble of... I don't think second moon is canon in this one.
Okay.
It's like a bubble of atmosphere. And in the bubble is a house.
Okay.
And in the house is a guy. And he wears your stereotypical wizard stuff. And he likes to shout that he's the Moon Wizard! And how great he is. And they interview him and find out that he was a wizard on Earth. And people come to him for like quests and advice and stuff. But he lived on top of a mountain. But he wanted to be even harder to get to him. So he teleported himself to the moon! And then they're like, have you had many visitors? He's like, no, you guys are the first for some reason. And they're like, well, why don't you teleport yourself back? He's like, well, you see, I'm a moon wizard.
Yeah.
Which means I get my strength from the moonlight overhead. And we're on the moon. Where it's kind of below.
Could he handstand and teleport back?
That's a great question.
Well, if he doesn't have any power, then I guess he couldn't do it, could he?
That's a fantastic question.
I love this character. I, too, want to just screw up to the moon and just call myself the Moon Wizard.
It's great.
Okay. So he doesn't have any demonstrable magical powers because there's no moonlight.
He talks about how great his powers are. Somehow the house got on the moon, but he has never in Foundation containment, which he's on the moon, so they don't have to do anything anyway. He's not ever done anything. He just talks about how awesome he is.
What's the house like?
It's like a house.
It's not like a medieval wizard house. It's just like his house.
It's like a little like cottage. It's not like modern, but it's also not like a crazy wizard castle. It's like a little cottage.
How old is this wizard? Is he like millennia, or is it just like a 20-something?
That's a great question. He claims to be from hundreds of years ago. We don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Also, the atmosphere bubble, like, I don't know even why this is mentioned. If you, like, put something in it, it just teleports to the other side. Like, so we can't get in there to bug him.
Oh, so you're screaming through the moon portal?
Yeah. Sound can get through, just stuff can't.
Like him yelling, "I'm the moon wizard!"
I teleported myself to the moon!
Okay.
This is great! Do you have any visitors? No!
Okay. I think I got a handle on this one. The moon wizard is too incredible. I think you had to have written that one. And I reverse psychology myself twice. I did it with the detective, and I did it with the robot. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to think about it. Moon Wizard, you wrote it.
I wrote the crossword puzzle one.
No!
Moon Wizard is real!
That's so good!
I'm going to say again, it's 2686 if you'd like to read the Moon Wizard. Fantastic. I love that article. It's really good.
No!
I am surprised that Fred got matched up against my very bad Fred knockoff, essentially.
I liked it.
Thank you.
I thought Fred for sure was real.
Fred's real. He's one of the more famous ones. Everyone loves Fred. I was not kidding about the testing log thing. There's this really long log of people just putting Fred and stuff. It's really good.
It just sounded legit.
Yeah, it's great.
And I thought the games one was legit. I was like, the Moon Wizard is just... I wasn't going to let you trick me again with another
Double plus. I want to mention as well, some of the ones I've made might be really, really similar to a real one that I forgot exists. So
there are
maybe there is one that is like you play crosswords and stuff with it to read the article.
Yeah, but that's the one you made up. The other two are definitely particularly real.
Like the other ones, I at least the fake ones, I put the wrong number down.
Yeah,
I hope. There's actually only one on this list that I know what the fake number article is. For the most part, they're just completely random numbers.
Yes.
Oh, man. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to stop recording. Do you have any thoughts before we take a break?
This is way harder than I thought it would be, and I'm going to go reevaluate my life choices.
All right, me too.
This is an intermission. I, Caldwell, will play a song for you. Now, back to your regularly scheduled idiots.
So what's my score looking like at the halfway point? I think I'm like 2?
You've gotten 2 right. We're on question number 9, so if you get this one right, you're actually on pace to make 1/3.
Oh, okay. I gotta get randomly guessing.
All right, this is an interesting round. SCP. Well, actually, do you have any thoughts after the break, or are we just ready to get right back into it?
I've been really enjoying this quiz.
SCP-1000.
Ooh.
Bigfoot.
Is what?
Keter class. Bigfoot is real, and not only is he real, it's a whole species of Bigfoots. They used to be the dominant species on the planet until humanity, who at the time was not the dominant species, stole some Bigfoot tech and killed them.
Okay, what is Bigfoot tech?
So
besides the name of like a really terrible startup.
Yeah, so the Bigfoots had like organic technology. Like
a biomechanical arm? What are you talking about?
Like, I'm trying to explain how to explain it. It's like they could like think of like a city illuminated by like glowing like plant bulbs and fireflies and things.
Okay.
And also guns, I guess.
It's like bioluminescence and like they have like a gun, but it's like made of like wood.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it. But anyway, so the humans stole the Bigfoot tech and killed most of them. And then used some kind of Bigfoot bio memory wiper to make us all forget that Bigfoot was real. But the Bigfoots are coming back. And they're like, okay, well, think about it. Last time, we like killed all of them. So, I mean, probably it's not going to be good if they they come back. Incidentally, the name Bigfoot was a Foundation invention. It was Sasquatch, but Foundation, like, people take that too seriously. They've got to make it sound dumber. Bigfoot. And all the Bigfoot fakes and things are Foundation plants to make people think that Bigfoots are not real.
So none of them have actually been true.
I think so. It might be the case that some real Bigfoots have been caught on camera, but I don't think that's the case.
Okay. Also, so the plural of Bigfoot is Bigfoots, not Big Feet?
The article does not refer to them as Bigfoots. That's something I have introduced.
Oh,
the
okay.
article refers to them as SCP-1000 instances.
Okay. Now this is... I noticed in 1,000. That's a big number. Are those usually big things? Like, is SCP, 100, or is SCP, 500 important? Because SCP 1000...
all of the 1000s... Not the one... Every 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let's continue the question before I answer this question.
Okay.
SCP-3000, the Cosmic Devourer, Ragnarok class.
Oh,
it's very scary.
Yeah, very terrifying.
It is a big, giant worm kind of monster in space that is, it eats planets.
Okay.
That's how big it is.
So I don't know why, but I immediately thought of the boss from Mario Galaxy 2.
It's Gobblegut.
Yeah, it's Gobblegut.
No, it's bigger than Gobblegut, because Gobblegut goes through the planet. This would just, eat the planet.
Okay, so big Gobblegut?
Yeah, very large Gobblegut.
Okay, good.
It's a big worm, dragon, snake-looking thing.
So it doesn't actually look like Gobblegut, then?
It doesn't have the rings around it.
Oh, so Mario can't beat it by spinning.
Right, it's invincible. It fixed the one problem Gobblegut had.
It's like, yo, make it bigger, get rid of the rings.
It is currently many light years away from Earth.
That's good.
In this particular lore, the Foundation has a FTL network of satellites and shit.
Okay.
But it is coming our way.
How fast?
Okay, it does that thing with the black box, right? Mm-hmm. So it's coming our way at point black box E, or C, or whatever one the speed of light is.
Okay.
So it could be 0.01 the speed of light, and it could be 0.99. It's scary. We don't know.
Oh, it's spooky, but it has to be at least a couple of years though. So.
Yeah.
We'll at least get to 2023.
That's right. They don't know if it's sentient or sapient or if it's just a big worm.
So, Ragnarok class, what does that mean?
It means it's really scary. You remember I told you at the start of the quiz?
They just make up new ones.
Yeah.
They're scary.
Like how the Scarlet King used to be Apollyon to make him scarier? Mm-hmm. The same thing. It's Ragnarok. It's scary.
Oh, scary.
You can't communicate with it. We don't even know if it's sentient. They've tried to, distract it. Doesn't work. Completely ignores every interaction that we've tried to do with it.
Okay.
As far as we know, there is nothing we can do with this thing.
Okay. So all the 1000s then are kind of big, important things, like a Bigfoot Society and the World Eater one. And
SCP-4000.
Okay.
Taboo.
From
Keter class.
Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
This one, okay, it's like another dimension. You get there going through a special procedure, and then a portal opens up in a well. And then the other dimension, there's a dirt path that eventually leads you back to the well. There's a forest with all sorts of weird creatures in it. The main thing here, none of these things can be referred to by the same name twice. If you do, weird things happen. So the article is written very strangely, where it's color coded more than anything. It's very weird. There's a whole list of procedures on how to follow if you're going to go there. You cannot leave the path. If an entity offers you such and such, you have to decline. Talk this way, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's bits where, when they're first discovering it, an agent goes there, survives it, comes back, and he goes to write his findings.
Okay.
And then is found dead for some reason, but. The agent's name is Desk, and in place of the word desk that he was writing on, it's his name,
what?
Bob, he was writing on a Bob with his pencil, that kind of thing. So it switches names, and there's this whole thing with a professor who goes there and talks to this entity that's like a rabbit.
Okay.
And he accidentally lets the rabbit call him fellow scholar more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And then it does the switchy thing, and then he's the rabbit. It's really weird.
What? Am I awake right now?
This one, So like
What is happening?
the idea, it's super mind screwy, is that like the name switches.
Okay.
So now this rabbit entity
Is the fellow scholar.
is Professor Blackbox or whatever.
Okay.
And Professor Blackbox is the rabbit, but it's like the name has switched. So he's still his normal human body, but when someone looks at him, they think, oh, that's that rabbit creature. And like there's a note like that they DNA tested the fur left on the professor's clothes.
But there wasn't any fur.
Right, because the rabbit thing, they thought the rabbit was the professor. It's really mind screwy.
So you mentioned 1,000, 3,000, and 4,000.
Mm-hmm. I don't like 2,000 that much.
Okay, this is now very interesting.
Yeah, 2,000 is like it's one of those thaw meals. It's like a safety bunker.
Okay.
It's kind of boring.
Okay. Oh god, it's so. Why am I so invested in this? Okay, Bigfoot. I think Bigfoot's real. Also, I think the article's real.
That's good. That took me a second, but that was good.
So, okay. So, like, when you got your COVID booster, did you just go insane for a little bit? And
That's true. That's a good point. I have been feeling like garbage this entire week that I was trying to write these scoops.
So you may have literally just had like a fever dream and made the 4,000 one. Or did you make up Gobbleguts Galaxy? I think Bigfoot's real.
And also the article.
Yeah. This is really hard.
This is the only one that I put these three together for a reason. This didn't come out randomly.
You said you knew one of the numbers, so it's not spoilers to say that the fake one, I assume you knew the number.
Yeah, I specifically gave my fake one this number so it could compete with these other two.
Oh, but you gave the Galaxy Destroyer Ragnarok class. Would you be bold enough to make your own?
That's like the extra letter me.
Yeah, would you be bold enough to make your own one sound like, oh, it's really cool?
It's really scary. It's Ragnarok.
All of these are
super heater.
Big super kill you, Ray. That murder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with you made up the Ragnarok class, the World Eater one.
You got me.
Yeah.
I made up that is
Woo!
The Devourer of the Universe is a boss from Terraria Calamity, and that's why I asked you if you knew about Terraria Calamity. Because it would be too easy. Because if you did that, I had to come up with something different.
I thought you were just asking me about the music. I thought you were just trying to show me music.
No, I need to know if you knew about that particular boss.
What's the actual 3,000?
Okay, yeah, no, it's not. That's the one I wanted to talk about. Taboo is real. It's super mindfucky. It's worth a read, but it's also like very confusing.
Yeah.
The Bigfoot one was not as good as I remembered, but it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
2,000, like I said, it's like a safety bunker. I think it's kind of boring.
Okay.
So the way that these things are decided is there's like a contest. People submit. Here's my submission for the 1,000 entry, and then whoever has the most upvotes at the end of the contest, they get the slot, and everyone who did not, they get to like pick their slot in the next set. Okay. So like you remember Alexandria Eternal was 4,001?
Yeah. They
probably came second in the contest and lost to Taboo.
Yeah, those are both cool.
Yeah, and so, that kind of thing. The real SCP-3000 is a big giant eel monster. Mm-hmm. So it's like, no, that's not far from what I wrote. But it's a big eel. It lives in the sea. It eats you, and it sort of excretes this goop that the Foundation uses in their Men in Black memory wipers.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it's from some mythology or something, but I don't get it. I don't see the appeal. It looks like just a big monster to me. It's kind of boring. Mm-hmm. SCP-3001, the guy who came second, is awesome. It's called Red Reality, and it's the story of this guy who gets, like, trapped between dimensions. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I'm still salty it lost to the big eel. Oh, no. I think Red Reality should have been 3,000.
2001.
And I made it number 3,000 so I could talk about that.
Oh, no, I'm glad I asked. I didn't know. I can't believe you just took a Terraria boss. I love Terraria.
Well, it's the Terraria calamity.
How long was this con? When you were saying, like, oh, I'm kind of interested in playing Terraria, like a month ago?
No.
Was that related to this?
No.
Were you streaming me this whole time?
The con was 2 days long.
Oh, okay.
I was like, my thought process was, I want to make something with its own class, because that'll confuse him, just like having the Apollyon one in.
Yeah.
But then he wasn't actually Apollyon. I'm going to do it anyway. I was thinking, what would be a good thing to have its own class? Something that is literally uncontainable and unstoppable.
Yeah.
I need a design for that. And then I happened to be listening to that boss's theme. I'm like, good enough.
Oh, that got me. That got me so much. Oh, that's hilarious.
So you're absolutely right. I was trying to bluff you again by making it my own Ragnarok class. So you would think there's no way he made up his own class. That's stupid.
I love this quiz so much. I'm even with guessing randomly now. That's good.
You've caught up.
Okay, let's go. I have the giggles now.
Also, I explained taboo so poorly.
Oh, that's
but I don't know that even the author could explain it well.
I mean, it sounds just insane.
It's super mindfucky and weird.
That sounds like I can see why that one was.
Yeah, that one's great.
Mm-hmm.
There's desk. There's one where one agent has 3 names and his 2 other agents don't have names.
Okay.
So it's like Agent Bob George Steve and his 2 other unnamed companions. It's really, really strange to just try to boil this thing down. Like, what on God's earth is going on here? It's really good. I like that one. Because it's not scary. It's not like, it kills you.
Weird.
It's just like, whoa.
It reminds me of the long arm guy. That's really weird.
Yeah,
It's terrifying.
I don't like the scary. None of these are like it kills you and it's really gory.
Yeah,
there are some like that.
Mm.
I don't like those that much.
I don't like goblins.
That's right. So, ready to continue, or you have any more thoughts?
I'm ready. Those were good. You made a good one.
Thank you. Yeah. I was gonna literally call him Devourer of the Universe, which is the name of the boss, but. Cosmic Devourer.
Cosmic Devourer.
I'm gonna make it a little more subtle.
Yeah, just in case I get hurt or something.
Did you like Ragnarok class?
I did. I loved it so much. That made me hesitate.
Right, because it's so ballsy.
I thought Bigfoot was probably real because it sounds like that'd be a really cool 1000.
Sorry, the monitor went to sleep and I panicked, but it's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and each one has a different theme. I don't know what the themes were, but they had different themes.
Okay.
SCP-890, the Rocket Surgeon, Euclid class.
Okay.
He's a guy who can surgically operate on machines. So he wears surgeon's outfit and he takes his surgeon tools and he goes to a radiator and starts and it sort of.
So an eccentric mechanic.
And it's sort of the mechanical device turns into skin and organs while he's working on it, and then when he's done, it turns back.
I don't like this one. So is the outside always skin?
Yeah. So it specifically for some reason mentioned that the organs are decided by their location rather than the material. So the outside becomes skin, and the insides become guts and stuff.
So let's say there's a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has or no, let's say that there's a fence. Let's say there's a fence, right? And one of the bars has a chunk out. So would only the outside, the black paint of the bars become skin, and then it would look like there's just a chunk of guts falling out, or would the skin go into the chunk?
That's an excellent question.
Okay. I hate this one. I hate this one so much.
I don't have an answer for you.
So, is it only machines, or can he operate on computers, or could he operate on a wall?
Computers and stuff, absolutely, yeah. He, electronics is okay. He can operate on that.
Could he fix a computer virus by operating?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good question.
Fair. Okay. So that was Euclid class?
Yeah.
So how are they? Why is he not safe?
That's a great question.
Does he kill machines?
Okay,
Or
so
does he
sometimes
only make them happy?
sometimes the operation does fail, and when it fails, even like no one can fix that machine.
Ever?
Yeah, this is broken.
Okay. So could he operate on like the weird gear thing, and then like from earlier that we talked about? I know they're not canon.
No, he probably could. I bet there's a fanfic where he does.
Okay, cool.
That said, though, it's not broken, so he wouldn't have anything to fix.
So does he realize what he's doing is weird, or does he think it's normal?
He thinks it's normal. At one point they're asking him, like, he's like, no, I fixed it. The patient survived. We're all good.
Okay.
So he thinks it's normal.
That one's gross. I think it's real, though. Okay, what's the next one?
The Architect. I forgot the number. 184. The Architect. Euclid class.
Okay.
Okay, it's a little statue thing. It looks kind of like a D&D dice. I think the royalty free picture might be of a D&D dice. When you put it in a room, it makes the room bigger on the inside, but like not on the outside.
Okay, that's cool.
After a while of doing this, it starts to like generate new rooms where it like, okay, so like in this room, there's like a table, there's a computer, there's some chairs. So it would make a new room that maybe also has a table and a computer and some chairs. But as it gets further out, it gets more and more bad at its job. So it might make one room that's completely full of tables, and the next room is entirely made of like computer.
This is amazing. I love this so much.
And then there's like a really, really long, windy hallway that like tilts 90 degrees as it goes and is entirely made of like chair.
So does it try and mimic the original room? So like if the original room was like an office, it would make things like office building space, even as they got weird.
Yeah,
but like if it was in a castle, it would look like castle.
That's exactly right. It would keep trying to make more offices, but as you get further and further out, the offices keep being less and less correct.
Okay. And how do you leave once you put this in a room? Like, can you leave, or does the D-class person just die?
Out the door.
What do you mean out the door? But it just takes you to another weird room, right?
Oh, out the front door, the one that you came in.
Oh, so it doesn't change where you came in. If you follow your path, you can still get back to the room.
Yeah.
So just put like an extra door at the back end of the room.
Right, it'll put a new door like in the back room of the room, and if you go through that door, it takes you to the weird hallway, and then the office is made of like only like computer screens.
This is so refreshing after that last one. This one's great. I love this one. So like, it's like it tries to repeat the same room over and over, but like tweaking things, but like it gets like worse.
Right, it gets worse as it continues, and the rooms get stranger.
Has it ever encountered, like, does it ever stop? Do we know if it stops?
Can you lean forward? You're looking quiet.
Oh, sorry. I was leaning back because I was contented in my victory at the last one. Does this look better?
Yeah, much better. Although I think you're probably now too loud, and I was just worried about nothing.
Okay, how about now?
No, come back forward.
How about now? I just made it way worse for like a split second.
Yeah, you nailed it.
It's perfect. So yeah, that was...
What was the question?
I don't know. Probably didn't matter.
They store it outside. They have it on a magnet. It's disguised as a statue.
Oh, okay. I think I was going to ask something. No, I wasn't. What's the next one? I like that one.
SCP-1909, Fordsville, Keter class. It is a city in Iowa that doesn't exist.
Okay.
But if you ask people in the state and around the state, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I know Fordsville. Like, your cousin lives there," or like, "Oh, I was there last week."
Mm-hmm.
But as you press them for details, either they just start making up stuff that no one's like said the same things, or they just I don't know, and no one can agree on it. They did a test where it's like, here's a map of the state. Where's Fordsville? And people all over the like completely different locations.
Okay.
Some were directly on top of other cities. Some were not even within the state borders, but they still said, "Oh yeah, it's in Iowa." But like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, it is.
Oh gosh. Okay. So, but there's no consistent description on what Fordsville looks like at all.
No consistency. There's no records of this town. As far as we know, it doesn't exist.
Okay. So okay. And there's no hints of anything like on the, like, does this only apply to people in the area? Or like, what if you ask on the internet? Did they test that?
That's a fantastic question.
Okay, good.
I like these because you can ask me a good question, And like,
they did not have
and I can say they didn't do that. I don't know. So if I did write it, it's a perfect bluff. And if I didn't write it, it's perfect. I don't have to make something up.
Do they know why it's named Fordsville?
Nope. Or if they do, they did not care to enlighten me.
Okay, so that one has the least detail by far, by virtue of literally nothing about it. You said it was Keter class. It's not safe?
So, yeah, of this one I actually can explain. You can't really contain it. People just seem to know Fordsville exists.
Okay.
So short of, I don't know, killing everyone in Iowa?
It can't be contained?
So I guess that's why it is. You feel me?
Okay, so even though it's not dangerous.
Right. That's one thing. People have sort of lately, like you remember me telling you way back when about that they made up like new classes? So it's like containment difficulty class and danger class. People have been like, it's kind of stupid that they're the same ranking. But, so this would be a very hard to contain, very low danger kind of one.
Okay. This quiz is so hard. Okay. So the first one, that was the surgeon one. That was the really gross one. I don't think you wrote it because it's gross. So then, did you write the really cool one? Or did you write, like, the really vague one? Because those both sound like they could be legit. And I could very much see you just sitting in a room and being like...
I wish this room was bigger.
No, even just like, I need to think of SCPs. What am I in right now? A room. Let me make an SCP based on room.
I start looking at like, what's your SCP about?
I got it.
A room.
It's like, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, like, you look at like a piece of paper and you're like, oh, a paper SCP. You look at a computer, like a computer SCP.
I look at a BattleBot and go, Thunderstrike!
Yeah. So did you write the room-based one? But that one was so cool. If you wrote that, you're like an absolute legend. But then, Fordsville is so vague that it would be really easy to write. But I don't know if you would have written it. And of course, there is the possibility that you're the first one and I'm just totally wrong. I'm going to go with you wrote the prism, the room one.
Yeah, I wrote the architect?
Yeah.
I wrote Fordsville. Although I think Fordsville is similar to an existing SCP. I'm not sure, and I did not look up if there was an SCP about a town that doesn't exist because I didn't want to know.
The town with no name.
I almost called it that. But that would have been
the fact that it was named Fordsville is what clued me in. They were thinking it was real. Because I thought the Fordsville thing and the fact that it was like explaining the containment strategy.
I did specifically look up to make sure there was not a town called Fordsville in Iowa.
Yeah. Because it sounds like a reasonable thing.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. I really like the detail about sometimes they'll put the pin outside of the state.
Yeah.
But they'll still say, hey, it's in Iowa. It's like, but you put the pin down here. It's like, yeah, that's where Fordsville is. And like, you just can't make them see.
It does. That's a really good one.
The architect is super cool. I really like that one.
Mm-hmm.
There is another one that expands on the architect that says, because we've left it outside, it's expanding the universe. That's why it's getting bigger. And the Foundation new experiment with FTL travel, and they keep finding copies of Earth made out of really weird materials. It's like, that's because the
architect
is doing it. He's copying, but wrong. But that one's not canon to the architect. You know,
okay.
You feel me?
Yeah, no, that one was really good.
It's really, I like that. It's cool because it's an object that isn't like scary, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you'd find the rocket surgeon so gross. I'm sorry. I would have put something else in if I...
No, you're good. It's just really icky.
I'm sorry. I don't find that one gross, and I don't know why, but I would...
Maybe it's just how you described it. It was like, oh yeah, you know, you just go up to the bike and then it becomes meat.
Well, that's how it is in the article.
Like,
I don't know.
I hate that.
I've never thought of that as being gross, so I'm sorry. I would have put it in a different one if I...
No, that was fun. That was funny.
Okay.
This is like, oh yeah, let me just go work on my radiator. Oh, it's become meat again. All the organs are spilling out. Whoops.
6033. The friend with many arms.
Oh, dude, it's that guy who's in the pipe.
Safe class. It is... Okay. There's like a Lovecraft monster guy.
Okay.
With like lots of eyes and arms. He's like a squishy purple one.
Mm-hmm.
Put him to the side for a moment.
Sure. Yeah, forget about him.
There's
not important.
children's book about this squishy purple man. When this book is read by a certain kid, the squishy purple guy appears.
Okay.
And he usually reads the kid a bedtime story and then puts him to sleep, you know?
Oh, that's adorable.
It's very adorable. The squishy purple man has some, they're called cognito hazards. It's when you look at it, and it does something. So if you look at him, you tend to get like headaches and stuff. Okay. But this kid is immune.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. It's just really cute.
That's adorable. What's the story? Does it only read the story by itself, or does it read?
We do get to hear the story about itself. Basically, the story, because it's a kid's book, right? Yeah. It's very simplified, but it has the big squishy purple thing going around asking like a star and a black hole to be his friend, but they can't be his friend. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to Earth, he finds Earth, and he's like, "Earth, will you be my friend?" And then Earth doesn't answer. But then in the story, the universe itself tells him this. I don't really know what that equates to. But it's like, there's a boy who's very lonely and he needs a friend, so I'll hook you two up, basically. And so he gives the book to the kid, and then, there you go.
So does the purple guy only read his story to the kid, or does he read any story?
I believe he reads any story. Oh, it sounds like a special occasion that he had finished his story.
Oh, okay. So it's no, like, it doesn't, like, protect the kid at all. It's not like, oh, if there's an intruder in the house, it'll kill everyone to save the kid. They're just chilling?
No, but I do bet that if the kid opened the book while there was an intruder, the purple guy would go kill it.
Okay.
I just bet the kid wouldn't think of that.
Okay. But it's not like some sort of, like, night relationship.
No.
Okay. That's just incredibly wholesome.
It's really good. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe I made it up, and I like that I made it up.
Maybe. You're just tooting your own horn. Yeah, that one's my favorite SCP.
It's my favorite SCP. It's so good. I wrote it. It's so good.
Yeah. No, that one's great.
SCP-065 Fireman. That's 2 words for branding purposes.
Why do some of them start with 0 and some of them don't?
Fantastic question. All the ones below 100 are 0. Okay. So it's always 3 digits.
Like 033 is the numbers one.
Originally, it ran from 002, 001 special, to 999. And then they wrote too many of them and made it 1,000, but they didn't go back and add zeros to all the other ones. But because they all started as 3 digits, I think that's why they all started 000. There's not a 0, but like 001, 002, 003.
So you wouldn't get like 0014 or like 0158. Yeah. Or like you would get like 0, like you said, like whatever.
Right. And then when they break 10,000, I'm sure they're not going to go back and add, it's 06265 or whatever, Yeah. But that's a good question. Yeah. Anything below 100 gets a 0 on the front. Okay. I assume that's just to standardize that they're all 3 digits at least. Okay. Was that a good answer?
Yeah, that was a good answer. I was just wondering.
Fireman. Safe class. Okay, he's a guy. He's like a middle-aged guy who has the power to shoot fire out of his hands.
Nice.
He is not immune to the fire, so anytime he uses the ability, it's extremely painful. Oh. And causes like all sorts of burns and injuries. Okay. He says he got this ability after he picked up a rock that he saw fall out of the sky. But the rock was not in his belongings when they found him, and they're looking for it, even though it's literally just a rock. Because it might give someone else fire powers as well.
Oh, did the guy pick up the rock or like keep the rock?
Yeah, so he says he picked it up, put it in his pocket, kept it, but they didn't find it with the rest of his stuff.
So he shoots fire both his hands or one hand?
It doesn't specify, but I think it does say out of his hands.
Okay. And so he doesn't do this often because it's incredibly painful.
Yes.
So he's just a guy?
He's just a guy.
Okay.
Who can shoot fire out of his hands, but it hurts.
But he doesn't because it hurts.
That's right.
So, like, do they ask him, like, hey, can you shoot fire? And he's like, no, that sucks. Or does he, like, actively, like, okay, fine. And it's like, and it hurts.
There's not really an extensive testing log on this one.
Okay. It's not like a joke, though.
It's not a joke. It's just like a short article. Okay. They do that sometimes.
But did they document this guy blowing fire, or is he just like, yeah, I can blow fire?
Yes, they have seen him do it.
But he does do it. Okay. But he does. Okay. I'm just baffled by this one because it seems so pointless. It's like, oh yeah, it's just a guy who can do this thing, but he really hurts, so he doesn't.
Yeah, you've nailed it. You've got the essence of fire, man. You've solved
That's
it.
a great article.
SCP-3521. Forced banana equivalent dose by Dado. Safe.
Bless you.
It is a set of pills, and when you take the pill, you explode in several thousand kilograms of bananas. So the story here,
Okay, yeah, good.
there's a guy called Dado. He's a medical anomaly man.
Mm-hmm.
He makes, so someone comes to him asking for plutonium because their usual dealer couldn't hook them up, and Dado's like, plutonium, too easy to trace. Potassium, because bananas are very, very slightly radioactive.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably, the pill makes you explode with as many bananas as would be radioactive as the plutonium the guy actually wanted.
Wait, so what was the original pill? Did
So
it
the
make
guy
you explode into plutonium?
The guy wanted plutonium to make a bomb.
Okay.
Dado gave him pills that make you explode with bananas when you take them, which is not all what he wanted.
So so I get there's equivalent potassium to plutonium, but why did he give it in pill form?
He's not very smart.
Do you have to eat the pill?
Yeah.
And then you become bananas.
Yeah, then you explode with several million kilograms of bananas.
What's it called again? You know what? Hit me with
Forced banana equivalent dose by Dado.
Does Dado have other inventions?
He does. He's got a whole series of Dado lore.
I think that was real. Okay, I feel kind of confident about this one. I think you made the fireman.
That was one of my last minute panic ones where like I need to write just literally anything.
I like it though. But like I think I got
I think
that
if Fireman had significantly worse competition.
No, Dado had to be real, and I forgot the
Dado's
first one.
awesome. I thought the name of that article was Discreet Banana Kill You Pill. Which is even better. So the whole joke with Dado is he makes these anomalous pills, and he gets the request from someone, completely misinterprets it, and makes something they absolutely don't want. So there's this one with the bananas. There are other ones. There's one point where we find his workshop, and he's got notes on things like what the universal constant speed of light needs to be and stuff. He's like, important. Anything else? No Amazon Prime. So it's implied Dado is extremely powerful, but just also kind of nuts.
What was the first one again?
The friend with many arms.
Yes, I love that one.
I love it. Read that one. 6033. It's so good. It's the only one from the 6000 series in this whole quiz because most of mine trend a little older because I haven't read a lot of the new ones. Mm-hmm. It's so good.
Yeah. That was just unfortunate for Fireman because it was sandwiched between two amazing ones.
Honestly, I'm glad to waste a kind of crap one against. I shouldn't have put Dado in. I thought it was called. I thought it was called Discreet Banana Kill You Pill, which I really wanted to read. But I had to put him in because I love him. Some people don't like Dado because he kind of does the same joke every time.
Fair enough.
But it's funny every time. So definitely, Dado is awesome.
I need a comprehensive list of all these good ones.
Also, it's canon. His name is Dado lowercase d.
Oh, nice.
His shift key is broken, so it's Dado.
Dado.
SCP-717. Mm-hmm. We All Dream. Keter class.
Ooh.
It is a shared dream had by people with similar traits, but we don't really know what the traits are.
Okay.
It seems like it includes like height, eye color, hair color, like what phase of the moon you were born in, like weird stuff. Okay. And it does this thing that SCPs love to do, like it lists like the first four, and it goes redacted. It's like I couldn't think of any more properties.
Yeah. What do people have other than eyes and hair and moon phase? Nothing.
But I guess the implication is that it's stuff that really is we don't know, and we could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's a shared dream. you can share information in the dream with other people. We've confirmed this because we had a D class who fit these properties, go to sleep, wake up, and then they knew shit about some SCPs they weren't supposed to.
Okay.
Because it's scary. Information about black box SCPs has been leaked through this method.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah, so it's between 01 and 99. So,
okay. So, does the dream happen every night? Or, like, only ever sometimes?
it does not specify.
So, it just, like, sometimes happens, and you sometimes talk to people in your dream.
Pretty much.
Nice.
Nice.
It's like those weird dreams that I have that, like, feel really real until, like, days later when I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
That didn't happen.
So, like, the details will wake up and go, Forced banana kill you pill by Dado!
It would be like me when I wake up tomorrow and be like, what did I even do yesterday?
Was that taboo one real? What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Alright.
When I wake up on my bed of nails.
1370. Pesterbot. Safe. He is a robot who thinks he's this awesome killbot, but he actually really sucks at everything. He likes to introduce himself with names like Overlord of Doom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the Foundation has tricked him into he also calls himself Pesterbot sometimes. And some other thing that I don't remember that's really funny. They have a test where he fights a potted plant and loses.
So what does Pesterbot look like?
He's like a toy robot.
Okay, like a toy robot, the size of a toy robot?
Yeah, I think so. It's not, I don't super remember how big he is, but he's not like human size. I think he's more like toy size.
Okay. So what does he do? Does he just boast?
Well, he sort of walks at the plant and tries to grab it and he falls over.
Does he do anything else?
Yells a lot.
Does he just have conversations?
Yeah. He's not very good. He doesn't like humans that much, but he's like completely ineffective.
What class is he?
Safe.
Safe. Okay, nice.
Just put him in a box.
Oh, poor guy. I love this. I love Pesterbot.
434. A meeting with myself. Euclid class. It's a desk, and when there are 8 chairs around the desk, and you sit in one of the chairs, 7 like copies of you appear in all the other chairs.
Okay.
And each one represents one of the deadly sins, like pride and sloth and stuff. Like as an example, the sloth one is just like really tired, and whenever you say, she's like, "What if we just like don't do that?"
But why are there 2 of them though?
That's a good question. If any of the clones die, that aspect of that person's like personality is completely removed, but it's always like a bad thing. Like if sloth goes away, you become literally unable to sleep and stuff.
Okay. So like getting rid of pride would mean that you literally are never proud of yourself ever.
Right,
again.
like that leads like depression and extremely low self-esteem.
Okay. What about something like, I guess getting rid of gluttony would mean you'd like never eat at all?
Yeah. A couple, yeah. So like gluttony is like you don't look out for yourself like at all.
Yeah.
Lust is interesting because they made it more just general enjoyment than like
lust for life kind of
thing? So you become completely unable to enjoy anything.
Okay, yeah, that's not great.
No.
I feel like getting rid of wrath would probably not be that bad.
Wrath leads you to like never ever defend yourself in a confrontation.
It's not that different from normal.
It's
what are the other ones? Pride, sloth, gluttony, wrath. I think we all got the good ones. Lust.
I think like gluttony and greed and envy all kind of work the same.
Oh yeah, greed. Is greed like? Yeah,
all 3 of those kind of just are like you don't really like you don't look out for your own stuff anymore.
Okay.
In like different ways.
So. Okay, so so you sit at the chair and all the people show up. Do you change at all? So like,
no.
Do you? Okay, no. So, but you just talk with the 7 aspects of yourself.
Lean forward a little bit.
So you just talk with like the 7 aspects of yourself.
Yeah, you just hang out.
Okay.
I think they go away naturally after like a certain amount of time.
Okay.
And to just suck back into you, I guess.
Okay.
There's nothing about the table that would cause them to die. It would be because they made a D-class sit there and then shot Some, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So it's not like they will just die. It would be like, but other people can view them as well. It's not just you.
Yeah, and because it's scary, the Foundation tried. What if we kill them?
Okay, so that wasn't the scary chair. It was the scary guy with gun.
It was the scary security guard with gun.
Yeah. Hyena with gun. Okay, so looking at these three, Pesterbot, I'm almost sure is real. You like that one too much. No, I think that doesn't just sound right. What was the first one again?
The shared dream.
Shared dream. Okay, you could have made that
Peter
one up.
class.
Or my logic didn't work on this last time with the architect. But what if you were like, I need to think of SCPs. What am I near? A desk. That sounds like it could be happening. The shared dream. You gave a lot of information about the article itself. Like all the like redacteds and all of the blocks. Like you were really making fun of how the article was written. Would you do that if you wrote it? Or was that all a bluff and it's not real? That annoyance seemed legit to me. I'm going to go with you made up the meeting with myself.
Final answer?
Yes.
I was the dream. And it was a case of what's around me, but I had just been asleep at the time. That's also how I came up with the bed and nails, incidentally. What's around me? Bed.
Obviously you were in a different room than I was assuming you were in.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got it wrong.
That's why I had so few details, because I couldn't be arsed to think of any more. I even made that joke. I was like, and then the list is redacted because I couldn't be arsed to make any more. Pesterbot is amazing.
So
I love Pesterbot.
I feel like I can narrow it down to like 50-50, but I always get it wrong.
Where he finds the plant is really good. They put a speaker in the plant, and Pesterbot like, who goes there? And then the speaker's like, hi, I'm a ficus. I have long, leafy furs. And he's like, I'll destroy you. And like the researcher is like actively laughing as he says this. This is one of the really, really old ones that can get away with stuff like that.
Oh, and
it's awesome.
-J.
It's so good. I love Pesterbot.
Okay. You did a good job making the shared dream sound legit.
Thank you. That was a tactic I used a lot. I think I can share with you now. Just kind of write something kind of generic and just say that they redacted all the good stuff. You know?
I'll need to go back and I want to listen to all the cues now. It's like, oh, that one was so obvious. I still can't believe the detective and the BattleBot you got me on. Then the wizard, you flipped it.
I thought I could get away with the BattleBot because that was so brazenly, obviously mine that you got no way.
Yeah.
And the Ragnarok class, you got me on that, but I really tried. I tried to pull it off. I think that would have worked better if we had seen the Apollyon guy be real.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Alright, how many rounds are we at?
We're number 13.
Ooh.
So if you get one more right, you will have hit 1/3.
So if 13, 14, 15, I have 3 chances. If I get 2 out of 3, that means I beat the average. That means I'm better than just guessing.
If you can get 2, you did better than just guessing.
Oh my gosh, this is a critical moment.
1168. A highly immature and completely unofficial parody. Safe class.
Now, dude, I can't with this right now.
It's a statue. When you put string in its hand, it activates. It picks 2 nearby people who meet certain criteria, and then reenacts that, boy, am I glad he's frozen in there, and we're out here, and he's the sheriff.
You cannot be saying this right now.
It manifests a block of ice around one of them, and like the caveman club, and then when he says the sheriff, like a badge appears on the statue, and all this stuff.
What is... You cannot. I can't look at it. I can't do it. Because if it's real, what am I going to do? If it's fake, what if I don't guess this one? It can't be real, but it can't.
Boy, my he's frozen in there. Have you got any questions about this one?
Let me cry for a second.
I'll take a drink.
Any scenario involving this, I lose. Because either this is somehow real. Like, it can't be real. But what if it is real and I don't pick it? Then I'm an idiot. What number is this again?
1168.
This number's not even like a really early one. Do they look like Shaggy and the sheriff?
Yes, that's how the criteria that I mentioned, how we pick certain people out of the crowd.
So they pick the most Shaggy and the most detective looking.
Yeah.
The most cave. What about Fred? Is he involved?
No, it's just Shaggy and the caveman.
Oh god. I can't. How does Scooby-Doo keep coming up? Sorry, we were talking about Scooby-Doo earlier today for no reason. Did you make this up right now just to screw with me? Go to the next one, I'm gonna die.
SCP-1313, Solve for Bear, Keter class. It's a series of mathematical equations that when you solve it, the answer is one bear, and then the bear appears near you.
Of course it is.
It's like that missing number one, but better, because it's a bear.
Of course it's a bear. This is not the last round. I can feel breathe. So, what is bear? What kind of bear is it?
It's a brown bear.
It's brown bear. There's no panda bears or grizzly bears.
It's always it might be a grizzly bear. It's always the same bear.
Like the same one or the same type of bear?
I think the same one. You can also solve for like a square root of a bear, bear squared, 2 to the bear's power.
Does bear squared solve multiple bears?
So the thing appears, it's phrased great. It's like they're usually extremely aggressive for their extremely short life.
Wait, why is their life so short around the bear?
Because it's a square root of a bear. The normal bears are fine. They're just bears.
I'm literally lightheaded right now. I can't.
Maybe we can calm down.
Okay.
With 2733, the Desert Pirates. Euclid class. Okay, it's a strip of highway out in the desert in, I think, Arizona, where you're driving down the highway. If you're alone, there'll be like a big flash of light behind you, and then like a big semi-truck just appears. Drives past you, blaring its horn, gets in front of you. Grappling hooks shoot out, and the back of the truck like opens, and they pull your car into the back of the truck.
Okay.
At this point, as soon as the car passes the truck, any camera that we've had in it just fails, so we don't know what's in the truck.
Okay.
And the car, the truck, and if the passenger is still in it, the driver, never seen again.
Okay, so okay. Okay, I thought you were gonna have 3 insane ones, and I was just going to die.
The effect does not occur if the vehicle's like, if they're driving their own semi-truck, it's too big.
Okay.
Or if it's like heavily armed, like a tank or a jeep or something.
I was recovering in that one. I did not catch that. So it's a big car that like hooks other cars?
It's a big truck that there's a big flash of light. The truck appears only if you're alone on the road.
Okay.
It drives in front. If you can like slow down or like speed up or like, try to veer off the road, it'll stay right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Some grappling hooks shoot out and like reel the car into the back of the truck opens and it reels, kind of like Knight Rider, but forced.
So this one cannot be contained, right?
Well, they blocked off this particular strip of road.
Oh, okay.
So seems good.
Oh.
But it is Euclid class and not safe because
Okay. So even if you veer off the road, it'll still get you?
Yeah, once the truck's appeared, no one has ever been able to avoid the truck once it's shown up in their testing.
Okay. That was a much needed breathing session after the bear the Shaggy one. If I don't pick it, what if it's real? What if you didn't make it up? But you made it the Doom one. But did you make up this one? I have to pick. I cannot not pick that one. That one's fake.
Which one?
He's frozen in here and we're out here. That one's fake.
I made up the Desert Pirates. The I'm frozen here and he's out there is amazing. There's a different article that's a statue that activates when you put something in its hand and it does a ritual. And the author of the Shaggy one hated that other article, and he wrote his own parody of it to make fun of it.
Because I thought there's no way that could be real. But does that make it that it had to be real?
But I already got you like that twice.
You already got me on that twice. But then you messed me up with the Moon Lord. The Moon Wizard. The Terrarium one was a different one.
the Cosmic Devourer. Do you need a minute?
No. The show will rage on. I have to get these next two right. Gosh, okay, go on.
SCP 580. Infinity Book.
Okay.
Save class. Mm-hmm. It's a book. The cover's blank. All the pages are blank. Mm-hmm. The first page has been torn out.
Okay.
When you write on like a piece of paper, stuff it in at the first page, and then shut the book, the whole book generates. So like the title shows up, pages show up. As far as they can tell, it's infinite amount of pages.
Okay.
Even though like the book, is a certain
not,
size,
but it just keeps.
But it just like kind of keeps going. The start of the story relates to the prompt hero. Like if I wrote about Fred and stuff, like that would keep going. But it very rapidly devolves into just like usually it's a conversation between two characters that's just like complete nonsense. A lot of like that kind of spooky imagery that you get,
So it's kind of like The Architect, where the further out it goes, the worse it gets.
That's true. It has a couple of like recurring themes. Let me see if one of them is like there's like death of a loved one, structures being like burned down or like destroyed, spiders,
spooky
spiders, yeah. And the year. Oh, gosh, it was some year in the BCs, like 500 BC or something.
Yeah. And strangely enough, Shaggy and the Caveman.
Yeah, and Shaggy and the Caveman was there.
Yeah, those are the two who are talking that devolve into nonsense.
If you made the prompt, it could be.
I want to see an infinite version of the boy. Am I glad he's frozen there?
And we're out here.
Because imagine if it just kept going. He's frozen there, and we're out here, and he's out here.
And I just remembered we're out here, and he's in there, and I'm the sheriff, and he's in there, and
we're out here, and you're there, and I'm here, and you're frozen, and I'm the death of my family, and I'm... Okay, that one sounds good. I like that one. That one's good. It's spooky. It's infinite. It's good. I approve of that one. It gets a thumbs up from me.
SCP-2521. ... vertical line ... vertical line ... vertical line ... is the date.
Is this Lost?
Keter. Okay, it is a scary monster.
Okay, it's not Lost. I was just assuming based it was ASCII art of Lost.
It's dots.
Okay, no, it is not Lost ASCII art. I just assumed it was.
It's a scary monster that, when information about it is written or said aloud, it shows up and, like, takes it. Okay. So if it's written, it shows up, takes the piece of paper.
Yes.
If it's said aloud, it shows up and takes the person who said it. It can, like, phase through walls and all this stuff.
Okay.
The entire article is only pictures, because the entity does not appear for pictures about it.
Oh, okay. So it's just like, but what if the pictures have text?
This is what we in the biz call a formatster. None of the pictures have text.
Okay, so it's just
some of them have numbers. Apparently that doesn't count.
So the idea is the pictures try and how do the pictures manage to convey this?
Yeah, it's like the way that it shows, like, for example, the tests. There's like a D-class guy. It's like kind of a clip art kind of thing. Like a D-class guy, and he's holding a pencil. And then we see him write something, and then the monster shows up and takes the thing. And then we have the D-class guy, and he says something, and then we see the monster take him.
Okay, so is it like illustrated like a comic book?
It is. I'm trying to think how to describe the illustration stuff. It's not like a comic book.
Because it would have text, I guess.
Yeah. Most of the pictures are kind of like symbols more than pictures, like a biohazard symbol. But instead of a biohazard, it's a Keter class symbol. You know? This is probably the most picture-heavy part, and it's sort of like how to describe it? It's not... You know the, like, generic corporate images.
Yes, like those kind of like the success, and it has like a stick figure-ish looking kind of. But
It looks
not
like
stick
that.
figure.
They're not like photos. It's like drawn, but it's that kind of drawing where it's like very basic.
This is a really cool one. I really like this one again. These are two good ones so far.
SCP-426. I am a toaster. Euclid class.
Good.
I am a toaster that you can only refer to in first person. It's a little bit of what we call a format screw, but not as much as the previous one was.
So, can I use me as like a regular toaster?
I'm going to stop the gimmick because I'm already confused. It's a toaster you can only refer to in first person. Works as a normal toaster.
Okay.
If you spend too much time near the toaster, you start to think you are a toaster.
Okay.
It was discovered with a bunch of people. He killed a bunch of people because it's scary.
Ooh, spooky.
One guy, like, exploded from eating too much bread because, he wanted to make toast.
Well, why didn't he spit it out?
That's the other guy. He ate one slice of bread and was waiting for it to pop back out, so he was severely malnutritioned.
Oh, he thought it would pop out automatically.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he didn't think his like tongue was like the...
No, he was waiting for it to pop back out. He killed some other people, too. I remember. One probably stuck a fork in an electrical socket or something.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
He got bored. Okay. So, what? So this toaster. Did they do any animal tests? Do animals think they're a toaster?
That's a fantastic question. They did. This is similar, but not actually.
Bless you.
Take a screw out of the toaster and then ask it. I need a cough.
Yeah.
Oh, I did that out. They took a screw out of the toaster and asked the D class to describe the screw, and the D class said, "my screw." So it works even on pieces of the toaster.
Okay. But they've only done like human tests. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. But once you you can always only refer to it in first person.
Yes.
So
even if you don't know about it. Like, one test was, they said, "Hey, D class, what do you think's behind that door?" And the D class said, "I'm probably some kind of scary monster or something. That's all you guys got here."
Oh, okay. So they even refer to it as I.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you only go toaster crazy if you stand next to it.
That's right.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, interesting. So we have the Infinity Book. We have the dot line dot, and we have I Am Toaster. Those are all three really good ones. You should congratulate yourself on this round.
Thanks. I wrote all three of them now.
No, because this is hard. Okay. The Infinity Book is similar to the Architect, which maybe means you took inspiration from it. But something's drawing me to the fact that I think you would probably want to write at least one format screw, because you're using a couple of format screws. And I know you randomize them, but how you would want to have if you have some ridiculous ones in there, you want
like
one
my
of the
Ragnarok one.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that the book seems reasonable enough. Like that seems like something that would be there. You know what I mean? Like the infinite generating book. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to debate. Infinite generating stuff is pretty yep, that's anomalous. A toaster is a very classic internet joke, right? Just like a banana, or it's the kind of thing that just like the dado banana kill you. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a kind of internet thing that happens a lot. So I'm thinking that maybe you made up the only picture one, which is just super cool because that one is awesome. If you made up that, then right, are you really gonna attribute that cool of an idea to me? No, I'm just how would you think of describing that if you weren't making the article? But then maybe you could give more detail because it wasn't only pictures. Right? What the pictures look like? No, it was just I could totally figure out what you were describing. I think I'm gonna go with you made up a ... line ... I was the book. The ... line ... is one of my favorites because there was a contest on the site, the short fiction contest. Mm-hmm. Your article had to be 500 words or less, and you got bonus points the less it was. Oh. This one uses 0 words. It won the contest.
I thought that was awesome.
That is really great.
Because they found a way in lore to justify being all pictures, but still entered it in the 0 words contest. and not only was it you have to be less than 500, but you got bonus points for how much less you were.
So they got 500 bonus points.
Yeah. So I don't remember the exact scoring, but I don't imagine there was a score for like 0 words, but there probably was for using less than 100. They maxed out the bonus points. So I thought that was such a clever rules.
Well, good job on the book too, because that totally blended in. That just seemed totally legit.
Thanks. Yeah, that was one I made fairly early. It was like it felt kind of generic, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I think I got lucky with it against 2 format screw articles because they both seem very weird.
Yeah.
I did do that format screw that was like Fred, but not the crossword.
Oh, you're right. That actually appeared with Fred.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
But
I thought you might do a couple.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think I got lucky. Like how I got unlucky with where some of them have appeared, I think I got lucky with that one.
Yeah, like the really cool one with the Greatest Fears quest. I think you got unlucky getting down paired against the
Destroyer, yeah. But like I said, the only one I planned was the 1,000 versus 3,000 versus 4,000. Because, yeah. This is the last one. So, if you get it right, you've got a 1/3.
Okay.
If you get it wrong,
worse
than guessing.
There's a lot of writing on this.
SCP-343, God. Safe class.
Okay.
It is a man of indeterminate age who appears to be God.
Is that it?
Pretty much.
Has he been able to prove he's God?
He seems to have sort of whatever power he needs to. Like we've seen him walk through walls. We've seen him, we put him in an empty room, and then the next is completely furnished.
Does he claim to be God, or does he just have the powers of God?
I don't remember if he says specifically, I'm God, or what.
Okay.
But he probably does. But I don't think he would do it in a bragging. He's written as a nice guy.
Okay, so he's like a benevolent character.
Yeah. We're containing him, but I think it's one of those where it's pretty clear he could just leave whenever he wanted. He's just like, this is fine.
So 3... Is there any significance to the number? Because I feel like God is a kind of significant thing.
See, I feel like there should be, but I don't know it.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's a biblical reference in there. I don't know. But Bigfoot was 1,000, but you said that's just by vote. So it's not like it's important. Like God's important enough to get a 1,000. It's just like he could just be randomly written and just tossed in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The important ones don't only appear on the thousands, but thousands generally are important ones.
Okay. So, but has he done miracles, like healing the sick or something? Or does he just
mostly
chill?
just talks to the Foundation staff and hangs out.
So he's kind of just a really lazy god.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Not particularly helpful. Did you make up God?
Well, let's see what the other options
are. Okay, let's see the other options.
2062, Osseous Mercator.
Okay.
Safe class. It's a statue. It's a statue of a skeleton. And when you get close to it, you hear a voice inside your head offering a deal. And the deals are usually for really weird stuff, like your first words, or your memory of such and such.
Okay.
Like weird, implaceable things,
Mm-hmm.
Or like June 1st, stuff like that.
Okay.
No one has ever figured out how to agree to one of the deals.
Okay.
So we don't know what happens. On the base of the statue, it's inscribed in Latin. It says, all sales final.
So you go up to it, and it offers you a deal, and you can't take it, and that's it.
That's it.
So it would say, I'll give you $1 million if you give me, your thoughts.
Uh-huh.
But you can't give them your thoughts.
Exactly. No one's figured out how to.
Okay.
Maybe you can. We don't know.
And all sales are final.
All sales final.
Okay. That sounds like it could entirely be real. My brain has turned to rot.
Well, speaking of rot, SCP-447, Ball of Green Slime.
And the walls will lose green slime.
So it's a ball of slime. It emits slime. The slime is completely safe unless it comes in contact with a dead body. The article is very insistent that the slime not come in contact with a dead body. I think every paragraph mentions it. When the slime comes in contact with the dead body, data expunged. There's also a testing log where most tests are denied because of the possibility that it could cause the slime to come in contact with a dead body.
So it's just spooky slime that can't touch dead bodies,
Right.
or else probably the world ends or something.
Yeah, it's like slime only can be handled by healthy staff to reduce risk that it comes in contact with it. Like every sentence is like this.
Okay. And it's impossible to know what happens when it comes in contact.
Yeah, they don't tell us.
Okay.
You're supposed to imagine because it's scary.
Now, I remember you said before your strategy was to just redact a bunch of stuff so you don't need to make
So I
it.
don't need to make it.
But that slime sounds entirely plausible.
I could not think of what happens when it comes in contact with a dead body.
I feel like God is reasonable to have as an SCP, but again, you might have made it up because you had stuff that was real in here, like Bigfoot. Or not saying that Bigfoot's real, but like...
But he is.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's an actual thing. So you might have made up a God article to like tap into that like realistic thing kind of setting. It's like how there was like a devil. Right?
Yeah, there was a devil one. That's true.
Yeah. And then the middle one's kind of like the middle one's just weird. I mean, it sounds like you could have made it up. It's a spooky statue that you make deals with. It's another deals one.
It is another deal. Devil's coming up a lot.
It's kind of vague. I have no earthly idea what it could possibly be. Which one? Okay. God, you didn't go into much detail about the middle one.
Do you have any questions?
What was its name again?
Osseous Mercator.
What does that mean?
That's an excellent question. If I was smart, I would have looked that up.
Osseous Mercator. Did you make up Osseous Mercator? Because that's such an unapplicable name. So did you just make up a weird one? And so, I mean, I don't think you can give me much more information on any of these. I mean,
if you have any questions, just don't ask what happens when it comes in contact with a dead body.
I mean, I fully understand what's going on. You have a guy who's God, and then you have a statue that makes you deals that you can't answer because it's weird. Is there any history to it? Do we know any history about it?
No. Some of them do include like a log, like how we found this thing, that kind of thing. This one doesn't.
And then a slime ball that's perfectly safe unless it comes in contact with a dead body, in which case, redacted.
And it really, really wants to make sure that you know that.
I don't think you wrote the slime ball. That sounds like a real article that you'd find interesting enough to put into this quiz. I don't think you did, but you totally could have. Why do I think so much about this? I don't want to lose. Did you write God? Because God, I would totally believe there's a God SCP. That sounds weird enough that you put in. You think, oh, that's a little weird. God.
A little strange.
But, like, the deals thing is, like, vague enough that you could totally make it up.
Would you like to flip a coin?
No. I'm done to die with my ship.
My ship is Bigfoot and the Cosmic Devourer. There's like genuine distress on your face.
There is. I've cried.
I am so glad. This episode's going to run long, but I'm so glad it did because we got to the I'm glad he's frozen in there. We're here.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best moments on this. Like this, it's going to be worth the wait.
Okay.
Although in retrospect, I guess I didn't need to make 15 of these.
Okay, I'm gonna lock in my answer. I think you wanted to make up something that had a real world thing. I think you made up God, locking it in.
I made up the skeleton statue. It was a line of sight one because I was wearing my Papyrus Undertale shirt. And I looked down, and I was like, a skeleton.
It was a skeleton. Shit! I didn't even know it was a skeleton. I thought it was just a statue.
Didn't I say that?
I don't know. You probably did, but I didn't even realize it.
I apologize if I didn't say that.
No,
that
you probably
important.
did, but I was just too focused on being hyper-focused.
We'll have to go over the list again. If I didn't say that, I'm sorry.
No, you're
Osseous
good.
mercator is Google Translate Latin for skeleton merchant. If I didn't say that, I'm
No, you're good. I maybe my brain was going into hyper overdrive.
I'll check the footage
I feel
when I
like I
edit.
got so many of these down to 50-50 though.
You absolutely did. Like to just do a debriefing real quick.
Yeah.
The first one, the shark, the cake, the detective. You were like, it's got to be the detective, but that's too obvious.
Yeah.
You know, like you zoomed in. Bed of nails, devil, and 2 kilograms.
No, I didn't get that.
I think that one was tough. The extra lunar meme, like you completely ignored the Apollyon guy. You're like, it's either the meme or the crabs, because
Yeah.
Um,
Apollyon might have been like, I might have remembered that because when you talked about the joke story,
yeah,
I remembered the kind of that, but I didn't know my name or anything.
yeah. The one with Doom and that one you didn't do. You were me.
That
like,
one I
Doom's
was
right.
totally wrong because I thought Doom was just fun.
The one with the battle bot, you narrowed it down to it's got to be the battle bot, but that's too obvious.
Yeah.
The one with the destroyer and the giant and the fear of the unknown, that was definitely a 50-50. You're like, it's not the destroyer.
Yeah.
The missing number, Alexandria Eternal, you were sure it wasn't me. It was too much lore.
Yeah.
So that one was a 50-50. Moon Wizard, you were just sure was mine.
Yeah, I thought I was burned by the BattleBot and by the detective, and I was like, you had to agree with that. And that was the same thing with the Is He's Frozen in Here, is that I don't... Here's the thing, right? I assumed you probably couldn't have written that down, but if you did write it down...
And I got it past you.
Could I live with myself tomorrow knowing that you got He's Frozen in Here and we're out here, and I said that one was real, and you made it up? I couldn't do it.
No, I hear you. It's like...
This would be the last episode of the Two Idiots podcast if I didn't select that one.
I can't let him win with I'm frozen in here and he's out there.
I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
Bigfoot, you immediately ruled out the taboo. You were like...
No, I
That's
ruled out
too weird.
Bigfoot.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I ruled out Bigfoot. I thought you might have written taboo when you were very, very out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I was like, let's go for one mind screwy.
Yeah, but I got on right, didn't I?
Oh, you did? That one you did
Yeah.
good. Rocket Surgeon and those ones. You thought he was gross, so you just didn't pick him because he was
Yeah, I
gross.
just didn't like thinking about it.
You totally nailed the Fireman. He was against some bad competition because
Yeah,
those were
because
both two
those-
amazing articles that were
Yeah.
too detailed for me to have done.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the We All Dream and Pesterbot and the meeting with myself.
Yeah, I got
You immediately eliminate Pesterbot.
Yeah, but meeting with myself and all the dream.
The one with the stat, he's in here, and then
I'm going to immediately go read the article as soon as this is finished.
it's not as funny as I made it sound. The ending drags it down because in lore, it's also a parody of that original statue because the statue killed someone they liked or something.
Oh,
So it
okay.
kind of gets dragged down at the end.
Oh, so it's not as funny.
It is funny, but then if you keep reading, it gets sad.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's very funny that the author also hated the other statue article,
Yeah.
and that's why you wrote a parody of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then that it was immediately followed by Solve for Bear.
Was that? Did you really randomly generate that?
Yes,
You really
I
did?
swear that was a random. I didn't see that.
Okay. The pirate one was good.
Thank you. I was worried that was going to be one of my two outlandish ones, and it fought against those.
No, that was like the grounded one of the group.
Yeah, that was the reasonable one. And then the book and the toaster and stuff.
Yeah, the book, I was a total toss-up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done on writing those.
Thank you. Handshake over the recording
Handshake.
computer
So
machine.
that means that you know more about anime than I know about SCP.
I think that means you're better at describing things than I am. Because I described them so poorly that it just was like, what the hell is this?
But we both are about totally right.
Yeah. So I guess we should wind the show down because it's been forever. This is going to be our longest episode yet.
Oh, is it? But that was so good, though.
You absolutely dying over the...
We
was
can't
amazing.
cut it because we have to keep that in.
No,
It's
that's
too
staying
fun.
in. That's going in our highlight reel for the year. If you are watching this episode from home, post your score in the comments below. How did you do?
Did you beat 4?
I forgot. You remember last year, you said, this isn't going to be this top 10 craziest animes. And you said you never do that voice again. I meant to introduce this isn't going to be like top 10 craziest skips. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do my own take on that voice.
Well, I'm glad you put it here so that you can have the joke, but no one will listen to
Right.
it.
I'm going to cut it out and put it at the start. And then it's immediately going to be followed by your reaction to the Shaggy one, and then the episode's just going to end.
So it's going to look like you made that joke, and I laughed really, really hard, and then the episode ends.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's...
You know?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, post your scores in the comments below. How'd you do?
Yeah.
If you got more than 4.
Someone actually posted their scores in the last episode. Did you see that?
Yeah, they did really well.
Yeah, good job on them. I'm gonna...
I know, I remember our buddy from the one episode, he told me he got 0, right?
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Now he needs to see if he can beat me on this score.
Uh-huh.
Alright.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
thank you so much for listening this far. And it was a longer episode than normal.
Yeah, I thought this would go faster, and it didn't, so I didn't really need 15 prepared. But it worked out because we got to that statue.
Yeah, it was very... But yeah, take care. Have a good... I was going to say have a good year. I mean, we'll see you in the next anniversary episode, but of course regularly scheduled episodes.
That's
as
right,
well.
yeah, regularly scheduled episodes, and that's about it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.